Part 52. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 514. Explode. This crouching tiger Arhat actually self-destruct. This scene was unexpected and caught everyone by surprise. The terrifying explosion energy exploded directly, and the powerful energy swept away in all directions instantly. Boom. The powerful explosion shook the sky and the earth, causing the wind and clouds to change color, and violent energy burst out directly, hitting everyone. The first person to bear the brunt was Xiaokunlun. He was the closest, and his expression became a little serious at this moment. He also noticed that something was wrong, but at this moment it was too late and he could only resist. Everyone's color changed in horror at this moment, their eyes filled with incomparable horror. They felt a powerful crisis at this moment, and quickly activated their cultivation power, and then used spiritual power to protect their bodies, directly forming a huge protection on their bodies. But even so, everyone still felt an irresistible force hitting them. Ah! Puff! Dot! The next moment, screams suddenly sounded, accompanied by the sounds of blood spurting. I saw that the bodies of the monks not far away were blown away at this moment. They were hit by the terrifying explosion force and were injured one after another. The dust waves swept across the sky and the earth, and in an instant the entire mountain forest was overturned, and debris filled the sky. The sound was extremely terrifying and earth-shattering. This is the self-destruction of a powerful master, so terrifying. After a short while, the dust waves dispersed. In the front, the figure of the crouching tiger Arhat was no longer there, as if it had turned into ashes and disappeared. Everyone looked at Xiaokunlun again, only to see that Xiaokunlun's figure was no longer in the previous position, but moved back several meters. Moreover, Xiaokunlun looked a little embarrassed at this moment. His clothes were torn, his hair was scattered, and his complexion looked very bad. Even the aura on his body was no longer as strong as before. What's more important is that there is a slight trace of blood on the corner of Xiaokunlun's mouth. Obviously, under the violent explosion force just now, even Xiaokunlun suffered some injuries. Then the Arhat who crouched the tiger just blew himself up like that. Dead. Oh my God, how is this possible? This is a powerful master. He just blew himself up like that. Dot. Unbelievable sounds came from the mouths of these monks again. Everyone couldn't believe that a strong master actually blew himself up like this. As for that, risking your life for a fairy bone? How is this possible? Only a fool would do this, right? When it comes to this Arhat crouching tiger, everyone feels that it is a bit mysterious. But at this moment, everyone only heard that Xiaokunlun said sharply again. What a soul clone! What a plan to divert the tiger away from the mountain! I didn't expect that. I underestimated you. Xiaokunlun looked at the location where the Arhat crouching tiger exploded, his eyes flashed with a brilliant light, and his voice was filled with uncontrollable anger. At this moment, he still didn't know where the root of the self-destruction in front of him was. It's not the true form of the crouching tiger Arhat, it's just a soul clone. Unexpectedly, he accidentally fell into the other party's way. This is clearly a plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. The other party was sure that he couldn't defeat him, so he created the soul clone, and then disguised himself as the original body to attract everyone's attention. He deceived everyone and deceived everyone. At this moment, he used the power of the clone's self-destruction to destroy Xiaokunlun. It's traumatizing. Although this injury is not a big deal to Xiaokunlun, it has been delayed long enough. At this moment, the opponent's body may no longer know how far it has gone. I want to see where you escaped to. Xiaokunlun's face hardened, his eyes filled with incomparable murderous intent, and he said sternly. Immediately, Xiaokunlun's powerful spiritual power was suddenly released, and he probed in all directions for traces of the crouching tiger Arhat. And as Xiaokunlun's voice reached everyone's ears, a look of surprise appeared on the faces of these monks. Soul clone. A plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. What's the meaning? Some monks looked confused and confused. What? Is this a soul clone? Oh my god, this demon-suppressing Arhat is just a clone? Isn't it true? I'll go, no wonder you dare to blow yourself up. This weird method. Is this the art of clones? Can this still happen? Tune the tiger away from the mountain. It really is the tiger away from the mountain. Sure enough, no powerful master can be underestimated. This method is simply impossible to guard against. There were still some monks whose eyes widened as they finally understood. They were well informed and had heard of soul clones. They finally knew that the crouching tiger Arhat who self-destruct just now turned out to be just a soul clone. All the people were fooled by the crouching tiger Arhat. It is indeed a soul clone. At this moment, Mo Tianxing also murmured, no wonder he felt something was wrong before, but now he finally woke up. I didn't expect that I was deceived. What a good trick. The clone attracts everyone, and then I escape from Zhen Zhen Zhen. Next to him, Tang Wanchen also said in a deep voice. Grandpa? What is a soul clone? Is it fake? On one side, Tang Qianqian also looked surprised and asked Tang Wanchen with widened beautiful eyes. Soul clone is a very special method, which is to separate a powerful soul into another body. It can't be said to be fake, it can also be said to be fake. In short, Fu Rohan didn't really self-destruct. Immediately, Tang Wanchen said directly to spread knowledge to Tang Qianqian. Hearing this, Mo Tianxing next to him added, but usually, the soul clone can only possess part of the power of the original body. This is the first time for me that the clone's cultivation level is comparable to that of the original body. See. And if the clone self-destructs, the body of the Fuhu Arhat will also be damaged. Compared to escaping safely with the immortal bones, the self-destruction of the clone and the damage to the main body are nothing. After such a long time, the guy is probably hundreds of miles away, and it is difficult to chase him. At this time, I heard Tang Wanchen say in a deep voice again. This is not necessarily the case. But after hearing Tang Wanchen's words, Mo Tianxing had a different view. That kid Li Hao, don't you think it's a little strange that he didn't even come? Mo Tianxing looked at Tang Wanchen again. What do you mean? Immediately, Tang Wanchen was shocked again, and suddenly thought of it. That's right, I'm afraid that boy would have realized something was wrong long ago. Mo Tianxing nodded and said directly. At the same time, in the other direction, more than 100 kilometers away from the entrance to Yunyanchen City, a thin figure was flying against the wind and leaving quickly. But at this moment, a large mouthful of blood spurted out directly from the figure's mouth. But even if it spurted blood, the figure did not stop. He wiped the blood from his mouth, took out a healing pill from the storage bag, stuffed it into his mouth, and then moved forward again. Damn it, this injury will take a year and a half to heal. As the figure left quickly, he cursed. However, getting these immortal bones and the purple-winged leopard cub. Everything is worth it. Xia Kunlun, just wait, this old enemy will definitely get revenge. It won't be long before. The voice said harshly again, with a hint of resentment in its eyes. The next moment, this thin figure slowly became taller, the appearance of his face also changed, and the wig on his head was also removed. In just a few breaths, a bald monk appeared again, the true face of the crouching tiger Arhat. And he is the deity of crouching tiger Arhat. At this moment, after escaping so far, Xia Kunlun might be too late to catch up again. But to be on the safe side, the further away the better. Immediately, crouching tiger Arhat was ready to go further away. But at this moment, Fuhu Arhat was shocked to see a handsome figure appearing in front of him, as if he had been waiting here for a long time. It wasn't Xia Kunlun, but the guy Fuhu Luhan had seen at the auction. He was with two other powerful masters at the time. Moreover, he had also seen this guy when he walked out of the inn before. Fuhu Arhat's pupils suddenly shrank, and he looked coldly at the handsome guy in front of him, feeling even more wary in his heart. I thought I had hid it from everyone and escaped the pursuit of Xia Kunlun and the others, but I never thought that someone would still notice it. The person who noticed it was not Xia Kunlun or anyone else, but the guy in front of him. Looking at the young man in front of him, Fuhu Arhat's eyes were slightly focused. He couldn't see through the guy in front of him, but Fuhu Arhat knew that the guy who could stand with the two great masters Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing was probably it was unusual, and if it was standing in front of him at this moment, he might be doing something bad. Amitba, little brother, are you here to wait for me? Thank you very much for the previous auction. Immediately, Fuhu Arhat bowed to Li Hao again and said to Li Hao, "That's right. I'm waiting for you here." Li Hao didn't hide it at all and said directly, "If you want to thank me, don't you also have to be sincere?" When the Fuhu Arhat heard Li Hao's words, his face changed slightly, and his heart felt a little cold, but on the surface he remained as usual, and he immediately asked Li Hao in a deep voice, "I don't know what kind of sincerity you want, Your Excellency? Spiritual elixir? Spiritual stone? I still have some left, so I will give it to you, little brother, as a thank you gift." Immediately, the crouching tiger Arhat actually had a storage bag in his hand, and he threw it directly towards Li Hao. Bang! The storage bag fell to the ground, making a small dull sound, but Li Hao did not catch it, as if he did not pay attention to the storage bag at all. He. But after hearing the words of the crouching tiger Arhat, Li Hao couldn't help but sneered again, and then said slowly, "You want to get rid of me with just a little magic elixir and spiritual stone?" As soon as Li Hao's words came to Fuhu Arhat's ears, Fuhu Arhat's expression suddenly became very ugly. "Then what do you want?" Fuhu Luhan also had a stern look in his eyes. He suppressed the anger in his heart and asked Li Hao again, "I want your fairy bones and the purple-winged leopard cub." When Li Hao heard this, a bright smile immediately appeared on his face, and he said lightly. But when these words fell into the ears of Fuhu Luhan, his face suddenly changed. "What a big tone! Boy, don't be shameless. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" The cold voice of Fuhu Luhan was heard again. Boom! A powerful cultivation momentum suddenly burst out from the body of Fuhu Luhan. The powerful cultivation of the early stage of the spiritual transformation realm was unreserved. Even if he was injured, he was still extremely powerful. "Oh? Really? Aren't you afraid?" Seeing the scene in front of him, Li Hao made a light exclamation again, and said with a smile, "Boom!" As Li Hao's voice fell. At this moment, a terrifying momentum slowly emerged from Li Hao's body, becoming more and more powerful, and constantly rising, causing the wind and clouds to change color, and the whole space was buzzing, as if it could not bear this momentum. In an instant, Li Hao's aura had reached its peak. The aura was earth-shaking and transcendent, making Li Hao look as if he was above the heaven and earth, extremely terrifying. At the same time, a terrifying pressure descended instantly, causing the Fuhu Luhan to tremble in his heart. That was the late stage of the spiritualization realm. Top Grand Master? How is this possible? At this moment, Fuhu Luhan was stunned and made an extremely shocked sound. He was really frightened by the cultivation power of the young man in front of him. This was clearly a Grand Master, and a top Grand Master, and he was only one step away from the earthly immortal. How could he be so powerful? At this moment, Fuhu Luhan was actually a little scared. Fuhu Luhan's face immediately became as ugly as if he had eaten shit. originally thought that by avoiding the direct battle with Xia Kunlun, he could easily leave here with the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard cub, but he never thought that Chen Yaojin would appear halfway. However, he still couldn't let the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard cub go to someone else. What if the guy in front of him was just bluffing? He had never seen such a young peak master. Come on, let me see if you really have this strength. The tiger subduing Arhat made up his mind and said angrily after the fight. Boom. Buzz buzz buzz. Immediately, the tiger subduing Arhat used his cultivation power to the extreme. On his body, there was a dazzling Buddha light. The power of Buddhism flowed through his body, making the body of the tiger subduing Arhat become extremely majestic, like a real Arhat. He immediately took the lead in attacking Li Hao with a terrifying force. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 515. The Fuhu Luohan burst out with all his strength, Buddha light circulated on his body, and the whole person turned into a golden Luohan, and directly launched an attack and blasted towards Li Hao. At this point, he had no choice but to do so. It was impossible for him to hand over the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard cub for nothing, unless his life was really in danger. Although Fuhu Luohan felt a strong sense of crisis from Li Hao in front of him, he still wanted to give it a try. What if the other party was bluffing? Therefore, Fuhu Luohan did not hesitate at all, and mobilized all the power in his body to launch an offensive against Li Hao. Although the self-explosion of the soul clone injured his body, as the only two masters of Luohan Temple and the second Luohan of Luohan Temple, the power exerted by Fuhu Luohan at this moment was undoubtedly very powerful. Li Hao saw the scene in front of him, but a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. In Li Hao's eyes, the opponent's attack was not very threatening. Li Hao did not say anything, and at this moment, he directly activated the power of cultivation. The pure spiritual power immediately flowed and rose on Li Hao's body, surrounded Li Hao's body, and then directly turned into a piece of armor on Li Hao's body. Spiritual power into armor. Li Hao naturally knew this method, which can be said to be the basic operation of a master. Boom. The next moment, the attack of the Fuhu Luohan fell directly on Li Hao. Bang. Only a dull roar was heard suddenly. As the attack of the Fuhu Luohan hit Li Hao's body did not move at all. On the other hand, a powerful recoil force hit the Fuhu Luohan, causing his body to be directly repelled, a full few meters away. Puff. The Fuhu Luohan immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with incomparable horror. He had already exerted all his strength, but he could not even break the opponent's spiritual armor, but was seriously injured. How is this possible? This is too strong. It's not at the same level at all. The Fuhu Luohan's face became extremely ugly, and he felt that the guy in front of him seemed to be even more powerful than Xia Kunlun. Crush. This is a naked crush. That's it? Li Hao looked at this scene, but said coldly again, with a hint of disdain in his voice, which fell into the ears of Fuhu Luohan, but it was so harsh. Since you have taken action, it's my turn now. Li Hao said in a deep voice. After speaking, a sharp light burst out of Li Hao's eyes again. Immediately, a majestic force suddenly rose from Li Hao's body. Buzz buzz buzz. The power of Buddhism. At this moment, the power of Buddhism and Taoism was born on Li Hao's body, and there was a dazzling Buddha light shining up, an endless Sanskrit sound was also resounding in the void. Only to see that above Li Hao's body, there was another extremely huge phantom, which seemed to descend from the 9 heavens, full of a supreme aura, as if it was above the heaven and earth, revealing the power of destroying the world. And this phantom was actually a Buddha. This Buddha stood proudly, one hand pointing to the sky, and one hand pointing to the ground, revealing an extreme domineering. In heaven and on earth, I am the only one who is supreme. This is When the Fu Huluohan saw this scene, his eyes were filled with incomparable shock, and he felt a fatal crisis at this moment. The next moment, the Fu Huluohan's pupils shrank suddenly, and he saw a huge Buddhist palm print that actually blasted directly towards him, revealing the power of shocking the world and weeping ghosts and gods. Tathagata palm. At this moment, Li Hao used it without any hesitation, and wanted to take down the Fu Huluohan as soon as possible. Ah! Fu Huluohan saw the scene and immediately let out a terrified cry, feeling that death was approaching. No! Give it to me! I don't want the immortal bone! Fu Huluohan said immediately, fearing that if he said it a moment later, the big palm would hit him. If the big palm fell, he would be crippled if not dead. Cowardly! Fu Huluohan was cowardly. Compared with his life and property, the immortal bone was nothing. Li Hao's Tathagata palm did not come down after all, and stopped less than an inch away from the Fu Huluohan's body. Ha ha! Don't want it? Hearing the voice of the Fu Huluohan, Li Hao said lightly again. You are sensible. Since you want it, then take it out. Then, Li Hao said in a deep voice, not polite. Alas! The Fu Huluohan was relieved when he saw Li Hao stop the divine palm, and he couldn't help but sigh again, with an extremely complicated look of loss in his eyes. The next moment, Fu Huluohan took out another box from his storage bag, which was the box containing the immortal bone at the auction, and then gave it to Li Hao. Li Hao took it without any hesitation and confirmed that there was indeed the immortal bone in the box. The next moment, a faint smile appeared on Li Hao's face again. And what about the purple-winged leopard cub? Li Hao said to Fu Huluohan indifferently. That. Big brother, can you leave this purple-winged leopard cub to me? Otherwise, I won't be able to report to the other 17 brothers in Luhan Temple when I go back. When Fu Huluohan heard what Li Hao said, his face became a little ugly again. He said to Li Hao weakly, and even called him big brother. It's your fault if you can't report. Take it out? Do you want me to do it myself? Li Hao didn't think so, and said directly to Fu Huluohan, with a hint of coldness in his voice. Forget it. Fu Huluohan sighed again, and then took out a cage from the storage bag, and in the cage was the purple-winged leopard cub. Under the pressure of Li Hao, Fu Huluohan finally gave in and had to hand over the purple-winged leopard cub. Li Hao took the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard cub without hesitation. But at this moment, in the sky not far away, a stream of rainbow streaked across the sky and came towards the side. The next moment, the stream of rainbow descended not far in front of the two people, and a towering figure appeared, looking at the two people coldly. That figure was Xia Kunlun, who had just sensed the battle fluctuations here and descended directly. What a good trick to lure the tiger away from the mountain. However, it seems that you still didn't escape. Xia Kunlun's eyes fell on the two people in front of him, and his face couldn't help but condense again. He said coldly to Fu Huluohan, but a gloomy appeared in his heart. Unexpectedly, someone got there first, and that person was Li Hao, whom Xia Kunlun feared the most. Sorry, you're a little late. I've already given him the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard oil stain. At this time, the Fu Huluohan said to Xia Kunlun again, while moving his body to the side. Now, he didn't have the immortal bone and the purple-winged leopard cub, so he had nothing to do. He was no longer the protagonist, and now it was his turn to watch the show. It would be best to fight, and then both sides would be injured. In short, the more chaotic the better. At that time, maybe I would have a chance to take these two things back. Swish, swish, swish. But at this time, there were several sounds of breaking through the air, and I saw several towering figures appearing not far away, full of majestic momentum. These people were Tang Wanchen, Mo Tianxing, and the Netherworld Venerable and other great masters. Even the Hahai Grand Master Shi Pohe appeared before. Several of them were masters, the fastest, and naturally they came here first. But soon, more and more figures appeared, and even those Jindan realm cultivators rushed here at this moment. It's really Fuhulugo Han. He really didn't die. He didn't self-destruct. That clone technique is really strange. Didn't he escape? Why is he here? What's going on? Is the fight over? Didn't a master fight just now? Now, who has the immortal bone? When these cultivators saw the scene in front of them, they immediately made unbelievable sounds. When Xia Kunlun heard Fu Huluo Han's words, his face became a little ugly again, and he couldn't help but look at Li Hao again. Li Hao, how about giving me the immortal bone? No matter what the conditions are, we can discuss it. And how about I owe you a favor? Xia Kunlun said to Li Hao in a deep voice, but he was extremely wary of Li Hao in his heart, and this was the first time he lowered his posture. Xia Kunlun's words fell into the ears of those around him, and they couldn't help but feel a little strange in their hearts. Who is this guy? How can even Kunlun god of war have such an attitude? Master Li Hao? Didn't I tell you his name? You don't even know Master Li. Master Li who defeated Zhao Tianshen, the protector of my Dawa. Damn, it turned out to be him. Immediately, someone else made a sound of surprise. But soon someone cleared their doubts, and then they looked extremely shocked. Li Hao couldn't help laughing again when he heard Xia Kunlun's words. He. The next moment, Li Hao's eyes were full of fierceness again. Sorry. No matter what the conditions are, there is no room for negotiation. Besides, you, a defeated general, are also qualified to owe me a favor. Li Hao said unceremoniously, but his voice was full of extreme pride. As Li Hao's voice fell, everyone was shocked again, and there was an uproar. On the opposite side, Xia Kunlun's face became extremely ugly when he heard Li Hao's words, and it turned ashen. Angry. Xia Kunlun was extremely angry. A defeated general? Not really. That day, I just had something to do and left first. Today, let me learn your skills again. Let's see who is the real master. Immediately, Xia Kunlun said to Li Hao in a deep voice. As soon as the voice fell, Xia Kunlun's supreme cultivation power was released instantly, and the powerful spiritual light flowed through Xia Kunlun's body, making Xia Kunlun's momentum incomparable, revealing the unparalleled power. A set of armor appeared all over his body, making Xia Kunlun look like a powerful god of war, descending into the world. This scene fell into the eyes of everyone around them, and they couldn't help but make everyone tremble in their hearts. They felt a strong sense of oppression, and they were really about to start a fight. The next moment, everyone was shocked to see a spear appearing in Xia Kunlun's hand. The spear was filled with golden light. It was not known whether it was a real magical weapon or a condensed Taoist law, but it made this moment Xia Kunlun's aura was extremely powerful. Suddenly, the gun shot out like a dragon, Xia Kunlun moved, and directly blasted towards Li Hao with a power that shook the world. As soon as he took action, Xia Kunlun showed no reservations and directly used the most powerful attack method. This scene fell into the eyes of Tang Wanchen, Mo Tianxing, and others, and they couldn't help but feel solemn. What a powerful method! Tang Wanchen couldn't help but sigh. He also felt a strong crisis from Xia Kunlun's offensive method. If it were him, he might not be able to take it on. Grandpa, will Li Hao be okay? Next to her, Tang Qinqin's voice suddenly sounded again. Looking at this scene, Tang Qianqian felt a little worried in her beautiful eyes. Don't worry, there may be something wrong with the others. But this guy is absolutely fine. Just keep an eye on it. Without waiting for Tang Wanchen to answer, Mo Tianxing next to him spoke directly, having great faith in Li Hao. Ahead. Li Hao looked at this scene, his eyes were condensed, but a sharp arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. Just in time. Li Hao shouted in a deep voice. Immediately, an unparalleled power burst out directly, and the extremely terrifying momentum suddenly swept across, making everyone look horrified. Late stage of the divine transformation realm. The terrifying pressure came directly, making everyone's feeling of oppression become stronger, and their hearts trembled extremely. Late stage of divine transformation. This guy is stronger again. Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing looked at the scene and felt the aura of Li Hao's cultivation, and couldn't help but marveled again. Thunder comes. The next moment, Li Hao shouted to the sky, as if giving an order. In an instant. Crackling. Thunder unexpectedly came from the hotel and landed on Li Hao's body. Rumble. Above the 9 heavens, the sky has become dark, and there is a sea of thunder surging, revealing the power of annihilation, and the scene is horrifying. At this moment, thunder light emerged on Li Hao's body, and endless thunder condensed around Li Hao's body, revealing endless thunder power. At this moment, Li Hao was bathed in thunder, like a lord of thunder. The power of thunder. He can actually control thunder. What a terrible method. Leixiu. Is he a Leixiu? Oh my god. This scene fell into the eyes of the surrounding monks, and they immediately let out extremely horrified sounds. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 516. Li Hao was bathed in thunder, like a lord of thunder, commanding thousands of thunders, with unparalleled power. This scene, in the eyes of the surrounding cultivators, made them feel incomparable shock. Thunder cultivator. Powerful thunder cultivator. There are 3,000 great ways, and some people are good at one of the 5 elements, which is also the most common power. There are also people who are good at swordsmanship, which is the so-called sword cultivator, which is the most powerful force for attack. There are also people who are good at the way of body refining, which is the so-called body cultivation. When they practice to a high level, their physical body is comparable to a magic weapon, and they can have extremely terrifying power when they raise their hands. There are also people who are good at the power of the moon or the sun, but no matter the moon or the sun, they are the most strange powers. In addition, there are people who are good at the power of wind, and their speed is extremely fast, and they can travel 1,000 miles in one breath. There are also people who are good at the power of thunder, which is called thunder cultivation, just like Li Hao in front of him, who can also be called a thunder cultivator, a thunder cultivator. Thunder is the most upright force between heaven and earth. It has a strong restraining power against some evil spirits, and it also contains an extremely terrifying destructive power. At this moment, Li Hao, who was wrapped in the power of thunder, had an extremely terrifying aura, and the whole person became extremely majestic. Everyone saw that Li Hao punched forward directly, and endless thunder condensed on Li Hao's punch. The next moment, this thunder fist directly hit the direction where Xia Kunlun was. Boom! The next moment, everyone saw Li Hao's thunder fist directly hit Xia Kunlun's spear, and immediately there was a huge roar that resounded, shaking the earth and making the whole space shake. Then, everyone was shocked to see that Xia Kunlun's spear was shattered under the shocking power of this thunder fist. Bang! Xia Kunlun was shocked and retreated backwards, his eyes filled with horror. His powerful attack was smashed by the opponent's punch. He didn't expect the opponent to be so powerful. Moreover, after the thunder fist smashed his attack, it still didn't stop, but went straight to Xia Kunlun with the power of destruction. At this moment, Xia Kunlun's face changed instantly. He felt a huge crisis at this moment. Xia Kunlun's eyes flashed with an extremely sharp light, and he responded immediately. Boom! The powerful cultivation started to work again. On Xia Kunlun's body, there was a natural force that was constantly rising and flowing. Xia Kunlun was seen pinching his hands, and the power of runes was running on his palms. Immediately, a strange force appeared directly on Xia Kunlun's body again. In the shining golden light, a huge divine bell appeared. This was a golden divine bell, which directly covered Xia Kunlun's body. Golden bell cover. This is another kind of Taoism practiced by Xia Kunlun. With the appearance of the golden bell, Xia Kunlun's defense reached an extremely terrifying level at this moment. Bang! The next moment, the thunder fist directly hit the golden bell on Xia Kunlun's body, and immediately a huge dull sound was heard, but the golden bell did not move at all. Boom! Then, everyone saw that the thunder fist exploded again, but was finally blocked by the golden bell. But the golden bell on Xia Kunlun was as still as a mountain. This scene fell into the eyes of the surrounding cultivators, and they immediately exclaimed again. Is this the battle between the grandmasters? It's really powerful. It's worth the trip. It seems that it will be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. At this moment, all the cultivators were extremely shocked by the strength of the two. Everyone felt that the trip was worthwhile. I'm afraid that it will be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. You are indeed very strong. But what can you do to me? Xia Kunlun said to Li Hao in a stern voice. This golden bell cover is one of the skills he practiced. Although it does not have any powerful offensive power, it can improve his defense to a very terrifying level, making him invincible. When Li Hao heard what Xia Kunlun said, he couldn't help laughing again. He. Really? Can't do anything to you? Li Hao said lightly, with a hint of smile in his voice. Li Hao's appearance fell into Xia Kunlun's eyes, and Xia Kunlun's heart jumped again. Could it be that the other party has some other means? If Li Hao knew what Xia Kunlun was thinking at this moment, he might have said sarcastically, I have so many tricks that you can't believe it. I have limited time, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the golden fragment, kneel down and apologize, and I'll spare your life. Li Hao looked at Xia Kunlun indifferently again, and said coldly to Xia Kunlun. Li Hao finally got serious and didn't want to talk nonsense with Xia Kunlun anymore. Xia Kunlun had really irritated Li Hao. What a joke. Spare my life? The outcome is still unknown, you break my golden bell first. Xia Kunlun didn't take Li Hao's words seriously, and immediately said to Li Hao in a stern voice. Ha ha. Since you want to die? Then I'll fulfill your wish. Li Hao immediately sneered again, with a hint of murderous intent in his eyes, as if in Li Hao's eyes, Xia Kunlun was already a dead man. At this moment, the people around heard Li Hao's words, and their hearts were shocked again, and many people even showed surprise. Many people disagreed with Li Hao's words. They are all masters, can they be killed just by saying so? Even if they are both masters, they can't just kill each other casually, right? Just when this thought came to everyone's mind, everyone suddenly saw at this moment that a long sword appeared in Li Hao's hand at some point. The long sword was like ink, but it was also shone with a faint purple light, and there were strange runes flowing on it. When this long sword appeared, everyone only felt a vibration from the soul, and an extremely powerful pressure actually descended on them, which was extremely terrifying, and invisibly, there was a shocking sword energy spreading. And this terrifying pressure actually came from this long sword, and the shocking sword energy also emanated from the long sword. The long sword stood there, as if it would tear the entire space apart. At this moment, a lot of eyes fell directly on the long sword in Li Hao's hand, and this long sword directly became the focus of the whole scene. What grade of magic weapon is this? What a terrible feeling. I feel like I'm going to be killed by a sword. What a terrifying sword energy. This sword is so terrible. I feel like I can't even beat this sword. Immediately, A lot of exclamations suddenly rang out again, and everyone felt that their hearts were trembling. And that Xia Kunlun, seeing the long sword in Li Hao's hand at this moment, his pupils couldn't help but shrink again. At this moment, Xia Kunlun actually felt a strong sense of crisis from the long sword in Li Hao's hand. How is this possible? Xia Kunlun could see the extraordinariness of the long sword in the opponent's hand, but he couldn't believe that the opponent could threaten him with this long sword. Li Hao held the Star Demon Sword and communicated with the Star Demon Sword. Li Hao could feel the existence of a will in the Star Demon Sword, and at this moment, he felt that there was a desire in this will. Desire to fight, desire to kill. The Star Demon Sword has spent countless years in the Sword Tomb, and has long forgotten the feeling of fighting. But as a sword, it should fight and kill people. So, at this moment, the Star Demon Sword was held in Li Hao's hand, and he had a desire. If it wasn't held in Li Hao's hand, it would have taken action directly. Don't worry. Today is our first battle. I will use the blood of the Master to contain your spirit. Li Hao felt the will of the Star Demon Sword, and immediately looked at the Star Demon Sword in his hand and said to the Star Demon Sword lightly, "Buzz buzz buzz." As Li Hao finished speaking, the Star Demon Sword began to tremble, making endless clanging sounds, as if responding to Li Hao with joy. This scene, in the eyes of the people around, made them feel like they had seen a ghost, extremely weird. The other party was actually talking to the sword, and the sword seemed to be responding. How is this possible? The long sword has a spirit. It's a spiritual weapon. Oh my God. It's actually a spiritual weapon. Immediately, a series of exclamations came out from the mouths of these cultivators. This long sword has a spirit. In their opinion, it must be a spiritual weapon, but what they don't know is that this Star Demon Sword is more than a spiritual weapon, but a real immortal weapon. On the opposite side, Xia Kunlun's face has become extremely ugly at this moment, and a strong crisis has arisen in his heart at this moment. The next moment, a sharp look flashed in Li Hao's eyes, and he suddenly cast his gaze on Xia Kunlun. Xia Kunlun and Li Hao looked at each other, but a chill was born in his heart. He saw a sharp murderous intent in Li Hao's eyes. Li Hao held the Star Demon Sword, and there was a shocking sword intent on his body, and his momentum became extremely sharp. Man and sword are one. Li Hao's cultivation power has been running to the extreme, and the momentum of the whole person has reached the extreme. My sword can open the sky. Li Hao said directly again. And as this voice fell, Li Hao's sword intent also reached an extremely terrifying level. Li Hao directly used the Kaishin sword technique. The Kaishin sword technique is a perfect match with the Star Demon Sword. The next moment, Li Hao held the Star Demon Sword in his hand and slashed it directly. As the sword fell, endless sword energy suddenly released, condensing into a huge long sword, revealing the power of annihilation, as if the entire sky was split open by a sword. A true sword that split the sky. The horror reached the extreme. At this moment, everyone's face was filled with incomparable horror. In everyone's eyes, the whole world seemed to be left with only this shocking sword. As the sword fell, the world was destroyed. The next moment, everyone saw the sword slashing directly forward. At this moment, the sense of crisis in Xia Kunlun's heart became more intense. The power of the sword was so powerful that he had no confidence that he could block it. Xia Kunlun did not expect that the opponent actually had such a powerful weapon. And is also good at swordsmanship. How many tricks does this guy have? At this moment, if he couldn't stop it, he would be in trouble. Xia Kunlun could only place all his hopes on this golden bell. He also used all his cultivation power to the limit, activated the golden bell to the extreme, and exerted his defense to the strongest. Everything happened very quickly. In just a split second, the Star Demon Sword Li Hao was holding fell directly. The Star Demon Sword struck directly on the golden bell above Xia Kunlun's body. Boom. Destroy everything. Bang. I saw that the golden bell on Xia Kunlun's body exploded directly under the sword, unable to withstand the power of the sword. Crush. This is a crushing force. How is this possible? Xia Kunlun looked at the scene in horror, shocked to the extreme. It was unimaginable that his most powerful defense was as useless as tofu under the opponent's sword. Xia Kunlun acted as if he was injured and spurted out a large mouthful of blood. However, even so, Xia Kunlun was shocked to see that the sword had not stopped yet, but was slashing straight towards him. Fear. At this moment, Xia Kunlun finally felt a sense of fear, the fear of death. He also felt the complete killing intent in the other person's eyes. But at this moment, Xia Kunlun had no resistance at all. But he doesn't want to die. No. Spare my life. I will give. I will give. Xia Kunlun was truly frightened in the face of death, and immediately screamed and begged Li Hao for mercy. In the face of life and death, everything is no longer important. I just gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Now, it's too late. When Li Hao heard Xia Kunlun's words, he said lightly, with a hint of coldness in his voice. The star demon sword finally struck down, striking Xia Kunlun's body alive. Ah, I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. Under the sword, Xia Kunlun's desperate voice came again. Haha, don't worry, you have no chance of being a ghost. Li Hao's cold voice came out again, with a hint of indifference in his expression. The next moment, Xia Kunlun's body was split in half by the star demon sword. He collapsed to the ground like a puddle of mud. He immediately lost his life and could no longer die. Moreover, the energy in Xia Kunlun's body was all the blood was swallowed up and absorbed by this long sword at this moment. At the same time, an illusory villain slowly floated up from Xia Kunlun's dead body at this moment. Its appearance was exactly the same as Xia Kunlun's. This is Xia Kunlun's soul. The soul of a master in the realm of gods has transformed and turned into a divine soul. Even if the body is alive and dead, his divine soul will not dissipate in a short time. If it possesses an ordinary person, it is impossible to be reborn. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 517. Li Hao looked at Xia Kunlun's soul, but did not give Xia Kunlun the slightest chance to be reborn. The moment Xia Kunlun's soul appeared, he immediately wanted to escape from this place, but Li Hao didn't hesitate at all and pointed directly at the soul again. An invisible soul power also burst out from Li Hao's fingertips and headed towards Xia Kunlun's soul. Immediately, an invisible cage seemed to appear around Xia Kunlun's soul, directly imprisoning the soul within it. The next moment, a small black demon dragon seemed to appear on top of the star demon sword. It was the spirit of the star demon sword that opened its mouth wide and then swallowed Xia Kunlun's soul. When another huge devouring power appeared, all he saw was that Xia Kunlun's soul was swallowed directly. At this point, Xia Kunlun not only died physically, but also his soul was extinguished. This scene fell into the eyes of everyone present, but it made them feel extremely shocked. Dead. Then Xia Kunlun died like this? Killed with one sword. Dead. Xia Kunlun was killed with just one sword. How is this possible? Oh my god. The sky is going to change. Hiss. Dot. A series of gasps of horror suddenly sounded from the people around them. Everyone stared blankly at the scene in front of them, feeling greatly shocked in their hearts. The next moment, everyone looked at the thin and handsome figure in front of them. Their eyes had become different. It was a feeling of looking up at the mountain. A strong master kills at will. Everyone thought of Li Hao's previous words again. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Now, it's too late. Indeed, everything is too late. Everyone thought that Li Hao was just talking, but they didn't expect that it was actually a fact. Xia Kunlun never thought that he would fall here. At this moment, Li Hao just stood there quietly, but there was a majestic aura about him, giving people a feeling of domineering. This is an existence that can kill fellow masters. If this matter spreads, I am afraid the whole world will be shocked. And Li Hao's name will also be heard throughout the continent. Is this Xia Kunlun dead like this? Not far away, Tang Wanchen's eyes widened when he saw this scene, and his heart was filled with turmoil. Xia Kunlun died like this? He has traversed the continent for so many years, and even went to the underground world without being killed. But now he died under the sword of Li Hao in front of him. This is so unbelievable. Isn't he just dead? His soul is gone. This guy is so decisive. Next to him, Mo Tianxin couldn't help but speak out. As for the eyes of Tang Qianqian and Yuanzi, their eyes were full of splendor at this moment. Li Hao, who was holding the Star Demon sword at this moment, had an evil temperament about him, and he couldn't be more handsome. Li Hao stood there proudly, looking at the Star Demon sword in his hand. After devouring Xia Kunlun's energy, blood, and soul, the Star Demon sword became more and more agile. His momentum seemed to become stronger and stronger, and he seemed to be even more powerful than before. This Star Demon sword has existed in the Sword Tomb for hundreds of years, and its power has also been lost with the passage of time. After killing Xia Kunlun this time, Xia Kunlun's spirit and blood soul is the most powerful weapon of the Star Demon sword. Good nutrition directly allowed the Star Demon sword to revive some of its original power. Buzz buzz. The Star Demon sword in Li Hao's hand was still trembling and making endless sword sounds. Li Hao could clearly feel the clear will coming from the Star Demon sword, which seemed to be cheering non-stop, but there was still a feeling that it was still unfinished. I'll let you kill me all the next time I get the chance. Li Hao immediately said to the Star Demon sword again, feeling increasingly satisfied with the Star Demon sword. It is indeed an existence of the level of an immortal sword. With his Kaishin sword technique, even Xia Kunlun's golden bell cannot block it at all. It is simply powerful, which makes Li Hao very satisfied. You guys, are you still looking for death? I don't mind leaving you here together. After doing all this, Li Hao looked at the people surrounding him, many of whom were Xia Kunlun's men. Li Hao said sternly with a hint of coldness in his eyes. When Xia Kunlun's men heard Li Hao's words, they reacted and fled in all directions like frightened birds. Looking at this scene, a slightly disdainful smile appeared on Li Hao's lips, but he did not take action or kill them all, but let these people leave. Then, Li Hao looked at several figures not far away. And there, it was Lord Netherworld and others. Do you want to rob it too? Li Hao said to the Netherlord calmly again, but there was a hint of coldness in his voice. No, 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 I'm just here to watch the show. When the Netherlord heard Li Hao's words, his expression suddenly changed and he said quickly. Then why are you still watching here if you don't go away? Li Hao said coldly again. Hearing Li Hao's words, Lord Netherworld's face suddenly became as ugly as eating food. He couldn't help but feel the urge to rage in his heart. Lord Netherworld looked at Li Hao with a sullen face. When Li Hao saw this scene, his brows furrowed again, and the sword of the inner demon in his hand released an extremely fierce aura. Li Hao raised his sword, as if he was going to attack the Netherworld Venerable. I'll leave now. The Netherworld Venerable felt a strong fear in his heart, and immediately said hurriedly. As soon as the voice fell, he did not hesitate at all, and his body moved directly, breaking through the air as if escaping. This scene fell into the eyes of the other cultivators around, and they couldn't help but tremble again. Li Hao said a word, and he actually drove away another master. The next moment, Li Hao couldn't help but look at the Fuhu Luhan again. This guy had never left. The Fuhu Luhan felt Li Hao's unkind eyes, and his heart was also frozen. Without saying a word, he immediately flashed away without any hesitation. Obviously, No matter whether it was the Netherworld Venerable or the Fuhu Luhan, they were all scared without exception, fearing that Li Hao would really attack them. Xia Kunlun's fate was still there. If Li Hao killed them here without saying anything, wouldn't it be too unfair? Soon, except for Li Hao, the only masters at the scene were Tang Wanchen, Mo Tianxing, and Shi Pohe. Shi Pohe was from Shenbao sect, so Li Hao was not worried that he would attack him. If he really attacked, it would be even better. Li Hao would have a reason to cause trouble to Shenbao sect, and he would definitely not lose out. After doing all this, a smile appeared on Li Hao's face again. Li Hao directly put the Star Demon Sword into the system world, but his eyes fell on the remains of Xia Kunlun again. Next to it, there was a storage bag. Li Hao immediately grabbed the storage bag in the air, and the storage bag was immediately sucked in by an invisible force and fell directly into Li Hao's hands. Immediately, Li Hao swept the storage bag, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth again. The golden fragment was indeed in the storage bag. This golden fragment was a system prompt, and it must be extraordinary. Now it is finally in hand. In addition to this golden fragment, there are also many spiritual stones, and some things like demon beast inner pills, and there are quite a lot of them. Obviously, these are Xia Kunlun's treasures for so many years, but now they have fallen into Li Hao's hands, which is a bargain for Li Hao. It's a great harvest. Li Hao couldn't help sighing in his heart. Killing people and seizing treasures is indeed the fastest way to get rich in the world of cultivation. It is so cruel and realistic. Li Hao threw the storage bag directly into the system world, and his figure flashed and came directly in front of Tang Wanchen and others. Alas, you shouldn't have killed him. However, what Li Hao didn't expect was that when he came here, Tang Wanchen actually sighed and said to Li Hao lightly. Hearing this Tang Wanchen's words, Li Hao couldn't help but look condensed and frowned slightly. Li Hao's heart was filled with a strange color. Shouldn't he kill Xia Kunlun? What does Tang Wanchen mean? Why did he say that? Li Hao's face showed a hint of doubt again. Yes, you really shouldn't have killed him. Unexpectedly, Mo Tianxing next to him said it again. Why? Li Hao looked at the two and asked in a deep voice. Immediately, he heard Tang Wanchen said directly, this Xia Kunlun is a master, and he is also a peak master. There are only a few peak masters in my Dawa. Hearing this Tang Wanchen's words, Li Hao frowned even deeper. Immediately, Li Hao said in a deep voice again. So what if he's a top master? Shouldn't he be killed? What kind of logic is this? As long as someone attacks you and wants to kill you, you can't kill them? One more master means more strength, and Xia Kunlun has been to the underground world. He has rich combat experience and has made a lot of contributions to the stability of Dawa. I'm afraid it won't be long before those monsters in the underground world will invade again. If there is one more top master, we will have one more chance. Immediately, Tang Wanchen spoke slowly again, saying a lot, and his voice was filled with a sense of melancholy. Indeed, it's a pity that Xia Kunlun died. If those monsters invade again, Dawa will be in danger. Mo Tianxing next to him also said in a deep voice. When Li Hao heard what the two said, he immediately understood that they thought it was a pity that Xia Kunlun died. Such a powerful cultivation should be used to resist the invasion of monsters. The monsters in the underground world are afraid that they will invade soon. If there is one more master, it will indeed be more strength. Haha. But at this moment, Li Hao couldn't help but laugh coldly, and laughed very loudly. Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing were stunned when they heard Li Hao laugh directly, and they only heard Li Hao continue to say. What a joke. So what if he is a peak master? Will my continent fall without him? Just because of this, he has a murderous intention towards me, can't I kill him? Li Hao said coldly. At this moment, Li Hao's emotions also became extremely volatile, and his voice was filled with a touch of coldness and arrogance. "This is not a reason for him to escape death. As long as you provoke me, even if the King of Heaven comes, even if the earthly immortal is here, I will kill him." At this moment, Li Hao's pride was also aroused. When Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing heard what Li Hao said, they were shocked again. "Arrogant, how arrogant is this? This seems to be Li Hao's original appearance, so unruly." The two were shocked and didn't know what to say. But at this moment, Li Hao sneered again. "If one day, the underground monster really invades, don't we still have it? How do you know that there is an extra chance with Xia Kunlun? How do you know that without him, we can't win? Don't worry, if that day really comes, I will definitely stand at the forefront." Li Hao's voice was so firm. At this moment, Li Hao suddenly felt that there seemed to be an invisible pressure on his shoulders. Li Hao looked at the two coldly, but saw that their faces were actually a little red, as if the blood was surging. When Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing heard Li Hao's words, their hearts were stirred again. Their blood was aroused and their blood was boiling. Li Hao's words seemed to have a magical power, awakening their inner confidence and inspiring their blood. Yes. If that day really comes, won't they still be there? Isn't there Li Hao? They won before there was no Li Hao, but this time there is one more Li Hao. How do you know they can't win? Li Hao is even more powerful than Xia Kunlun. That's right, we thought too much. Mo Tianxing said immediately. The older you live, the more cowardly you become. It's you who woke me up. Tang Wanchen couldn't help but say, and sighed again. Li Hao's words made him suddenly realize, and a touch of faith was born in his heart again. Li Hao laughed again when he heard what the two said, and then said directly, "Let's go." As soon as the voice fell, Li Hao was ready to leave directly. "Hey, wait for me." However, at this moment, a voice came from one side again. Li Hao and his companions looked in the direction of the voice, and immediately saw a sturdy figure walking out of the crowd. It was a young figure. Seeing this guy coming out, Li Hao was stunned. "Isn't this Lei Ao? I really forgot about it. That. Grandmaster Li, you said you would help me." Lei Ao looked at Li Hao and asked him weakly, as if he had made a great determination to ask this question. Just now, Lei Ao was in the crowd and saw Li Hao kill the Kunlun god of war with his own eyes. If he asked him to help him refine the Huagu pill, would he kill him with a sword? God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 518. Lei Ao looked at Li Hao cautiously. He had just asked this question, and he didn't know how much determination he had made. Lei Ao did not expect that the young man in front of him turned out to be a peak master. Even the Kunlun god of war died under his sword. What a terrifying existence this was. In the eyes of the other party, my own cultivation level is really no different than an ant. Lei Ao was afraid that the young man in front of him would kill him if he disagreed, but in order to resolve the blood demon poison in his body, Lei Ao didn't care much. The guy in front of me won't regret taking his own small cauldron, right? That shouldn't be the case, right? Li Hao looked at the Lei Ao in front of him and suddenly remembered that he had agreed to help this guy refine the poison elixir. If this guy hadn't appeared out of nowhere, Li Hao would have really forgotten about it. "Don't worry, I will do what I promised you. Isn't it just a poison pill? I just made it for you casually. But have you got the materials for making the pill?" Li Hao immediately said directly to Lei Ao. "Well, it's done." Lei Ao nodded and said, he spent almost all his wealth before struggling to gather the materials to refine the goo pill. Hearing Lei Ao's words, Li Hao was also surprised. This guy had actually collected all the materials for the poison pill. This was also very rare. "Now that we have collected them all, let's find a place for you to refine them," Li Hao said directly to Lei Ao again. Hearing Li Hao's words, Liao's face suddenly showed a joyful expression, and he felt a touch of excitement that could not be concealed. Mo Tianxing and Tang Wanchen, who were standing next to them, felt a sense of surprise in their hearts when they heard Li Hao's words. "Do you want to refine the poison pill?" Tang Wanchen immediately said to Li Hao in surprise. As the Demon King, Tang Wanchen is a master of alchemy. Alchemy is his specialty. He naturally knows the difficulty of refining the poison pill. The poison pill is a very high-grade pill. Its difficulty is the same as the difficulty of refining the God pill. It was almost the same. Even if he refined it himself, the success rate would be less than 30%. And Li Hao actually wanted to refine the poison pill. How could that be possible? Is this Li Hao also a master of alchemy? Although Tang Wanchen knew that Li Hao was good at medical skills and even knew the magic of acupuncture, but that was completely different from refining alchemy. Tang Wanchen didn't think that Li Hao was also a master of alchemy. That's right. Li Hao nodded lightly, but didn't say much. However, when Tang Wanchen and others saw this scene, they couldn't help but feel shocked again. It was that Liao who felt a sense of disbelief in his heart when he heard Li Hao's words. Just now, Liao thought that Li Hao would ask Tang Wanchen to help him refine it. However, Liao knew that Tang Wanchen, who was known as the king of medicine, was a master of alchemy and should be able to refine the poison pill. "Let's go. Find a place first." Li Hao said directly to several people again, and left immediately even if his body moved. Soon, Tang Wanchen and the others also had a powerful aura of cultivation, and then they moved and flew away in the wind. An hour later. "Here we are, right ahead is my second uncle's villa here." Tang Qianqian pointed to a luxurious villa ahead and said. This villa is located in a resort area, surrounded by beautiful scenery and pleasant climate. This villa covers an extremely large area and has an open-air swimming pool on 3 floors. It looks very grand and is very luxuriously decorated. And this villa, according to Tang Qinqian's words, is also the Tang family's villa, but it was bought here by his second uncle. Didn't Li Hao want to find a suitable place to refine the elixir? Tang Qianqian immediately mentioned this place and brought it up immediately. Then, several people came here. When Li Hao and others came to the door of the villa, there are already many figures standing at the door of the villa, waiting here. "Father." A middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s, wearing glasses, a suit, and leather shoes, looked like a big boss. When he saw Mr. Tang Wanchen, he said directly and respectfully, "Grandfather." Next to this middle-aged man, there was a young man in his 20s, wearing designer casual clothes, who also shouted directly to the old man. And this middle-aged man is surprisingly Tang Qinqian's second uncle, the old man's second son, named Tang Qiang. As for the young man next to him, he is Tang Qiang's only son, named Tang Hao, who is also Tang Qinqian's cousin. Tang Wanchen nodded, and then introduced to Tang Qiang and Tang Hao. "This is Grandmaster Li Hao Li. You must have stopped mentioning his name a long time ago." After Tang Wanchen's words fell, Tang Qiang, Tang Hao and his father were shocked again, and their eyes fell on Li Hao. Is he Grandmaster Li Hao? So young? The hearts of the two were extremely trembling. They had received shocking news before. It was said that Xia Kunlun, the god of war of Kunlun, died under the sword of Grandmaster Li Hao. The number 1 Grandmaster of Dewa is none other than Grandmaster Li Hao. And is the young man in front of him Grandmaster Li Hao? Li Hao nodded, accepting it. This is Grandmaster Mo Tianxing and the master of the sword sect. I only heard Tang Wanchen continue to say. Another strong master. Father and son Tang Qiang and Tang Hao were shocked. This is Grandmaster Mo's apprentice, Unzi. As Tang Wanchen's voice fell, the eyes of Tang Qiang and his son fell on Unzi again. Unzi's exquisite appearance and extraordinary temperament made Tang Hao's eyes straighten. It's so beautiful. This thought came to Tang Hao's mind. He was involved in society, and as a rich second generation, he had naturally seen a lot of beauties, but the Unzi in front of him gave him an amazing feeling. Immediately, Tang Hao felt a sense of excitement, and his eyes straightened when he looked at Unzi. Feeling Tang Hao's gaze, Unzi frowned slightly, and his expression became condensed. How Tang Qiang immediately shouted to Tang Hao, and then Tang Hao came back to his senses and looked away. By the way, what's your name? At this time, Tang Wanchen asked Lei Ao again, but he even forgot Lei Ao's name. Lei Ao. Thunders Lei, Ao rans Ao. Lei Ao was speechless, and immediately said in a deep voice, announcing his name. This is the second son of my Tang family, Tang Qiang. My grandson, Tang Hao. Immediately, Tang Wanchen introduced Li Hao and others. This is the villa of my Tang family. It has a special training room. It has a large space and an excellent location. It is a good place for refining elixirs. Brother Li Hao, Lao Mo, please come inside quickly. As a result, Li Hao and others, led by Mr. Tang Wanchen, Tang Qiang and others, walked directly into the villa again. As soon as they walked into this villa, Li Hao and others immediately had a strange look in their eyes. Reiki. There is actually spiritual energy in this villa. Although it is not much and relatively rare, it is real, and compared with other places outside, this spiritual energy can be regarded as a treasure land for cultivation. It's not a spiritual vein? It's a spiritual stone. There's also a spirit gathering array. That's pretty good. Li Hao immediately said in a deep voice, directly seeing what was unusual about this villa. This spiritual power should be emitted by the spiritual stones buried underground, and the construction of this house actually followed the special method is like forming a formation. That formation is based on these underground spiritual stones, so that these spiritual energy will only exist in this villa and will not spread out. As long as people living in this villa can practice with the help of these spiritual energies, even ordinary people can be washed by these spiritual energies all the time and become strong. Brother Li Hao has great eyesight. Tang Wanchen, who was next to him, heard Li Hao's words and immediately said with a smile. Afterwards, Tang Wanchen took Li Hao and others directly to a training room behind the villa. It was the size of a basketball court, and the aura here was actually stronger than other places. The top of the training room is still hollow, and the sky can be seen. Brother Li Hao, how is it here? Tang Wanchen asked Li Hao again. Not bad. Very suitable for alchemy. Li Hao nodded, and immediately looked at Lei Ao behind him, and said directly to Lei Ao. Take out the refining materials for the gu pill. Upon hearing this, Lei Ao immediately took out all the gu huandan materials he had collected from the storage bag. There are spiritual herbs, crystal stones, and inner elixirs of monsters, and there are hundreds of materials. From the variety and quantity of this material, we can see how difficult it is to refine this poison pill. Brother Li Hao, do you really want to refine it yourself? Seeing this scene, Tang Wanchen couldn't help but said to Li Hao. That's right. Any questions? Li Hao immediately looked at Tang Wanchen in surprise. I mean, why don't I do it for you? Although my cultivation level is not high, I am pretty good at alchemy. Tang Wanchen then said that he still didn't quite believe that Li Hao could refine the poison pill. Can you guarantee that the refining will be successful in one go? It seems like he only has enough materials for one go. Li Hao naturally could see what Tang Wanchen meant, and immediately said to Tang Wanchen calmly. How is that possible? Even if the elixir is still alive, I can't guarantee a 100% success rate. If it is a low-level elixir such as a healing pill, I am 99% sure, but for this poison pill, I am at most 30% the certainty. Tang Wanchen heard Li Hao's words and said directly. For an alchemist of Tang Wanchen's level, If he wants to refine low-level elixirs such as healing pills and soul-restoring pills, the success rate will be very high, which can be infinitely close to 100%. The higher the level of elixirs, the higher the success rate. It is naturally more difficult to control it. This goo transformation pill is a high-grade elixir of the same grade as the God transformation pill. It is very complicated and difficult to refine. It was refined by Tang Wanchen, the master of alchemy, and its success rate is also very low, less than 1%. 30. Then what are you going to refine? When Li Hao heard Tang Wanchen's words, he immediately said speechlessly. Then, Li Hao said lightly, "I'll do it myself." When everyone heard Li Hao's words, they couldn't help but feel strange in their hearts. The next moment, several people saw Li Hao go directly to the center of the training room. "I'm going to start refining, you'd better stay away," Li Hao reminded everyone. The next moment, boom! Li Hao's body, a super strong cultivation aura was immediately released, and endless spiritual power rose and circulated on Li Hao's body. At this moment, everyone felt a strong sense of oppression coming at them, and they felt as if they were suffocating. Fortunately, Li Hao was not targeting them, but was releasing his cultivation naturally, so they were not in any danger. Then, everyone saw that a small bronze tripod appeared in Li Hao's hand. "Isn't this his little tripod?" At this moment, even Lei Ao had a look of surprise in his heart. "Isn't the little tripod in Li Hao's hand the one he got from him? What is this guy doing with it now? Is he going to use this little tripod to refine pills? Isn't that a joke? How can such a small tripod be refined?" However, Lei Ao just had this thought in his mind. The next moment, Lei Ao stared at Li Hao's palm with wide eyes. It was seen that the small tripod in Li Hao's palm was spinning rapidly at this moment. At this moment, strange runes appeared on the body of the small tripod, and a sense of power was released from it, as if the mysterious power contained in the small tripod was stimulated at this moment. A bright and dazzling spiritual light was born from the small tripod. In an instant, everyone was shocked to see that the small tripod became bigger and bigger, and then directly turned into a bronze giant tripod that was 10 feet high. The spiritual light on the tripod was shining, and a pattern of mountains and rivers appeared, which looked full of incomparable magic. At this moment, everyone felt an extremely heavy momentum from the giant tripod, as if it contained the momentum of mountains and rivers, shaking the earth. At this moment, the mountain and river tripod finally turned into its original appearance in Li Hao's hand. Under the prompt of the system, Li Hao got the operation method of this tripod, and he directly recognized the mountain and river tripod as the master. At this moment, in Li Hao's hands, it was finally going to bloom its power. Bang! The next moment, the giant tripod fell directly to the ground in front of Li Hao, and immediately issued a huge roar, causing the entire earth to tremble and shake people's hearts. "Is this an alchemy tripod? What grade of treasure is it?" Seeing this scene, Mo Tianxing immediately made another sound of shock. He could see at a glance that Li Hao's bronze alchemy tripod was extraordinary, but he didn't know what grade it had reached, but it must not be low. The body of the tripod is like mountains and rivers, and the tripod controls the mountains and rivers. This is the mountain and river tripod, one of the 10 ancient alchemy tripods. And next to him, Tang Wanchen saw this bronze alchemy tripod, especially the mountain and river pattern on the body of the tripod, and his expression was suddenly shocked again, and he exclaimed, shocked to the extreme. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip. Report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 519. Tang Wanchen recognized Li Hao's bronze cauldron at a glance. It was the Shan He Ding, one of the 10 ancient cauldrons. As a master of alchemy, Tang Wanchen was not only familiar with various elixirs, but also had a great understanding of the cauldron. He had carefully read the classics about the cauldron, which clearly recorded that in ancient times, there were many immortals and gods, demons everywhere, countless practitioners, and there were no fewer people who were good at alchemy. In addition, the cauldrons were also very good. Each cauldron could bring great help to the alchemist when making elixirs. Among these cauldrons, there were 10 most powerful cauldrons, known as the 10 ancient cauldrons. This Shanhiding was one of the 10 ancient cauldrons. There were mountain and river patterns on the cauldron. It was an ancient spiritual cauldron that could condense the power of mountains and rivers, carry the momentum of continuity, and gather the spirits of all things. Tang Wanchen did not expect that Li Hao actually took out a cauldron, and it was a Shanhiding, one of the 10 ancient cauldrons. At this moment, Tang Wanchen was really a little skeptical about Li Hao's alchemy level. Could it be that the other party was also an alchemy master? The next moment, Tang Wanchen and his companions saw that when the mountain river cauldron appeared in front of Li Hao had a sense of mystery. At this moment, Li Hao, looking at the mountain river cauldron in front of him, also felt an extremely heavy feeling from it. Li Hao's mind moved, and he immediately activated his powerful spiritual power, and his palms quickly formed seals. Boom! In an instant, a blazing flame rose on Li Hao's palms. The art of the descent of the sky fire. In an instant, the whole space became hot and the temperature rose instantly. I saw that Li Hao's palms were directly placed on the mountain river cauldron again. Chi chi chi! Immediately, a blazing flame rose directly from the mountain river cauldron. Seeing this scene, Tang Wanchen and others were immediately shocked. They didn't expect Li Hao to be able to perform the fire technique. This fire was extraordinary. After Li Hao finished all this, he grabbed the materials on the ground beside him, and some of them flew over and were thrown into the mountain river cauldron. Li Hao's spiritual power was also running to the extreme. He carefully explored and sensed the situation in the mountain river cauldron, and knew everything. When these materials entered the mountain river cauldron, they were directly wrapped by the blazing flames and began to burn. The strong high temperature melted everything. These materials soon turned into ashes, but there was liquid in the ashes, and this liquid was the essence of these materials. As these materials were refined, the essence of these materials was directly quenched out. Then, Li Hao kept throwing materials into the mountain river cauldron, constantly quenching, and more spiritual medicine essences were quenched out. Li Hao was very fast, his movements were smooth and skillful, and more materials were thrown into the mountain and river cauldron as he raised his hand. Moreover, each kind of medicinal material had a special order, but in Li Hao's hands, there was no stagnation, as if Li Hao had already refined it thousands of times, and he was very comfortable with it. This understanding of the medicinal properties of medicinal materials has reached an extremely terrifying level. Watching Li Hao refine the elixir at will, even Tang Wanchen was stunned. From Li Hao's movements, it can be seen that Li Hao's alchemy level is not ordinary, and it is very likely to be higher than him. Alchemy Master. Li Hao is definitely an alchemy master. But this Huagu pill is an extremely difficult elixir to refine. Can Li Hao succeed? Tang Wanchen knows that quenching materials is only the first step in alchemy, and the more important thing is still to come. Beside them, Mo Tianxing and others were also watching very seriously. Yuanzi and Tang Qinqin's beautiful eyes were shining with a strange light. They were watching someone refining pills at such a close distance. Watching others make pills is also a good experience. And Lao, he looked at Li Hao without blinking, his heart hanging. He only had so many materials for making pills, only enough for one time, but he must succeed. Li Hao didn't care about the eyes of the crowd, let alone the crowd watching. At this moment, Li Hao's mind was immersed in making pills. Although the system rewarded him with the alchemy technique, which had already made Li Hao's alchemy level reach a very high level, and refining a poison-removing pill was no problem, Li Hao still couldn't be careless and ensured success at one time. After a while, all the materials on the ground were thrown into the mountain and river cauldron by Li Hao. As time passed, as Li Hao continued to refine, these spiritual medicines turned directly into ashes under the burning of endless flames. In the entire alchemy furnace, only a ball of liquid remained, which was transparent and contained extremely powerful energy. And this liquid is the spiritual liquid, which is the essence of those materials. After the refinement is completed, this is the first step of alchemy. Next, it is time to condense. Li Hao controlled the output of spiritual power to the extreme, and even controlled the temperature in the alchemy furnace. Then, Li Hao controlled the flames and kept rushing towards the spiritual medicine essence from all directions, making the pressure on the spiritual medicine essence become extremely terrifying. Immediately, the originally large mass of elixir essence began to compress under the powerful pressure. After a while, this mass of spiritual liquid essence began to slowly become smaller and smaller, and finally it was compressed to the size of a marble, and changed from a liquid state to a solid state. A pill slowly took shape. Condensation successful. Next, is the most critical step, which is called ascension to the spirit. Ascension to the spirit makes the elixir spiritual, or stimulates the spirituality in the elixir, and the grade of the elixir is determined accordingly. This is a very critical step. Success or failure depends on this move. Li Hao's eyes flashed with fierceness, and his aura immediately rose again. Bang! Li Hao slapped his palms against the alchemy cauldron again, and immediately he condensed extremely terrifying cultivation spiritual power towards the location of the elixir in the alchemy cauldron. At the same time, the mountain and river pattern on the mountain and river tripod appeared again, and a strange power seemed to emerge from the alchemy tripod. At this moment, everyone was shocked to see that there were some dark clouds gathering in the originally clear sky above the sky. In an instant, there was another shock in the eyes of everyone present. The people present were all monks, and they saw something unusual at this moment. The dark clouds in the sky were clearly caused by Li Hao's alchemy here. And at this moment, Li Hao became even more extraordinary. There is also an extremely terrifying aura condensing in the alchemy cauldron. The next moment, Tang Wanchen made a sound of surprise again. That's Dan Lei. All I saw was that Tang Wanchen looked at the sky with a shocked face and said in shock. Next to them, Tang Qianqian and others couldn't help but have doubts after hearing Tang Wanchen's words. Dan Lei? Grandpa, what did you say? Tang Qianqian asked Tang Wanchen with a confused look on his face. Look at the sky, in the clouds. Immediately, several people heard Tang Wanchen say in a deep voice again. After hearing Tang Wanchen's words, everyone immediately looked carefully towards the sky. At this moment, there were electric sparks appearing in the clouds. That's thunder. Rumble. At this time, a thunder suddenly sounded again, shaking the earth, and the deafening roar made everyone's hearts jump. Everyone could only see that above the clouds, the light of thunder became dazzling, constantly running and swimming among the clouds above the sky. Dan Lei. This is Dan Lei. When the quality of the refined elixir reaches the extreme and becomes extraordinary, it will cause elixir thunder, which can also be said to be a kind of strange phenomenon. But this situation is something that I have only heard of, and since then never seen it. I only heard Tang Wanchen continue to say, to spread knowledge to everyone. He was the one who had made alchemy for so many years and had made many high-grade elixirs, but he had never caused the appearance of elixirs. In front of his eyes, Li Hao's refining of the poison pill actually attracted thunder from the sky. What a terrifying thing! It's going to become a pill. Tang Wanchen said in a deep voice again, looking forward, with some expectation in his eyes. At this moment, everyone was looking straight at Li Hao, expecting. At this moment, Li Hao naturally felt the changes in the sky and felt the appearance of thunderclouds in the sky. Li Hao also did not expect that his refining of the poisonous pill would actually cause thunderclouds and cause thunder disasters. But at this moment, the thunder has not come down yet. Li Hao could feel that the energy of the mountain and river cauldron was becoming more and more violent, which was a sign that it was going to become a pill. The poison resolving elixir in the mountain and river cauldron is about to be completed. That's it now. Get up for me. At a certain moment, Li Hao shouted loudly again, and then suddenly slapped his hands towards the body of Shan He Ding. Bang! Immediately, a huge roaring sound resounded loudly. A round elixir slowly floated up from the mountain and river cauldron, and a pure aura was released from the elixir. It was at the moment when this elixir appeared. Crackling! A deafening thunder exploded, shaking the sky and the earth. Suddenly, a bolt of thunder fell from the sky. The thunder from the sky instantly hit where the pill was in front of Li Hao. If this thunderbolt were to strike down, the poison-transforming pill would probably be completely destroyed, and Li Hao's efforts would have been in vain. How can we let this thunder fall? Li Hao's reaction was not unpleasant. Immediately, an astonishing aura erupted from his body, and his full strength was directly released. Li Hao's power of cultivation was also released without reservation. Boom! The next moment, Li Hao actually moved again, jumped up, clenched his fist, and actively blasted towards the thunderbolt. The next moment, Tang Wanchen and others saw another shocking scene. I saw the thunder coming down suddenly, and Li Hao exploded with astonishing power, and hit the thunder directly with a single punch. Bang! In an instant, there was another roaring sound, deafening. There was a lightning explosion. But that figure still stood there proudly. Everyone was shocked to see that the thunder falling from the sky was shattered by Li Hao's punch. Li Hao actually shook the thunder with his physical body. And after Li Hao smashed the thunder, purple lightning shone among the thunder clouds in the sky. Between the lightning and thunder, another purple thunder came towards Li Hao. It fell down like a thunder dragon. This thunder cloud seemed to have a will, and it felt like Li Hao's action just now was a provocation. At this moment, more powerful thunder power was gathered again, and it came down in the direction of Li Hao, shaking the world. When Li Hao looked at this scene, a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Well done! Li Hao shouted loudly, and the power of cultivation was activated, and the light of thunder shone on his body. Li Hao was originally a thunder cultivator, and at this moment, he directly activated the power of thunder, and his momentum became extremely terrifying, with a shocking power. But this time, Li Hao did not move, but stood there proudly. However, his body was completely enveloped by the power of thunder at this moment, and his whole person became majestic and filled with endless power. Bang! The next moment, the thunder dragon descended directly towards Li Hao and hit Li Hao directly. But the moment the thunder dragon came into contact with Li Hao's body, it was blocked by the power of thunder on Li Hao's body. The thunder seemed to open its huge mouth, trying to swallow and burn Li Hao, but Li Hao's body seemed to have a huge devouring power, swallowing up the thunder. In just a moment, the thunder dragon suddenly dissipated and was completely destroyed. On the other hand, Li Hao, bathed in the thunder, remained motionless, and the aura on his body even became more astonishing. Subsequently, rumble. In the sky, several thunderbolts appeared one after another, descending in the direction of Li Hao. But without exception, all these thunderbolts were blocked by Li Hao. After a while, the thunder no longer appeared, the thunder clouds in the sky also dispersed, and the bright sunshine appeared again, as if everything had never happened. On Li Hao's body, the momentum remained the same, and even became stronger. Many of these thunder powers were destroyed by Li Hao, but some were devoured and refined by Li Hao, and directly became Li Hao's physical strength. Part of it is that even Li Hao's cultivation has improved a lot. Looking at this scene, another faint smile appeared on the corner of Li Hao's mouth. The thunder disperses and the elixir is formed. Li Hao directly opened his hand. In Li Hao's palm, there was a round elixir. The elixir was filled with spirituality. There were also some strange lines on the elixir, which were elixir patterns. Only when the quality reaches an extremely high level can pill patterns appear. In other words, the quality of the poison-resolving pill that Li Hao refined at this moment was of the highest quality. It was a top-grade poison-resolving pill. God-level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 520. When the goo-removing pill appeared, a scent of the pill was transmitted to everyone's nose. It was the scent that made everyone feel refreshed. The next moment, everyone saw that the goo-removing pill actually moved on Li Hao's palm and instantly flew away. The spiritual goo-removing pill seemed to want to escape from here. How can I let you escape? Li Hao saw the scene and said lightly. The next moment, an invisible barrier appeared not far in front of Li Hao. The goo-removing pill hit the barrier and bounced back directly. Li Hao caught it in his hand again. A powerful force suppressed the goo-removing pill. This scene fell into the eyes of the people around, and they couldn't help but give them a touch of surprise. Especially Tang Wanchen, who was in a state of shock at this moment. It actually succeeded. It succeeded in one go. Tang Wanchen widened his eyes and murmured, "It was unbelievable, this Li Hao succeeded in refining the elixir in one go, a 100% success rate. The other party's elixir refining level is really too amazing, right? But the quality of the elixir has reached the extreme, it has spirituality, and it also has its own will. This goo-removing elixir in front of him is like this, which is enough to show the extraordinariness of this goo-removing elixir in front of him." A faint smile appeared at the corner of Li Hao's mouth, and then he directly put away the mountain and river cauldron in front of him. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao walked towards the few people again. "Here, this is your goo-removing elixir, just eat it here, and the blood demon goo can be completely resolved." Li Hao looked at Lei Ao again, and immediately said to Lei Ao in a deep voice. "But before that, there is one more thing to do." Li Hao said directly. "What is it?" Lei Ao's face suddenly showed a hint of doubt, and asked. Li Hao did not answer, but directly activated the power of cultivation, and then pointed directly at Lei Ao, and immediately an invisible force descended on Lei Ao. Lei Ao felt that his body seemed to be out of control, and a trace of horror appeared in his eyes. But at this time, Lei Ao felt that something was moving in his body. The next moment, Lei Ao opened his mouth involuntarily. Wow! Everyone saw that a few golden little bugs were vomited out by Lei Ao, and those bugs were still alive, and went directly in the direction of Li Hao. Golden silkworm poisonous insects. This is the golden silkworm poisonous insect that Li Hao used to suppress the blood demon poison in Lei Ao's body. Now that he has the poison-removing pill, Li Hao directly took these golden silkworm poisonous insects back. If he didn't take them back, under the powerful effect of the poison-removing pill, these golden silkworm poisonous insects would also die directly. Although there are not many, it is a pity. The next moment, after Li Hao took the golden silkworm goo out of Lei Ao's body, Lei Ao's face changed again. Ah! Lei Ao immediately let out a scream, feeling that the originally suppressed blood demon goo in his body was agitated again, and began to devour his internal organs and his vitality. "Hurry up and eat this goo-removing pill," Li Hao said directly to Lei Ao again. When Lei Ao heard Li Hao's words, a strange color immediately appeared on his face, and he couldn't hide his excitement. "Thank you," Lei Ao immediately said to Li Hao with great gratitude, and then took the goo-removing pill from Li Hao's hand. Lei Ao felt the power contained in this pill, and his heart couldn't help but move, and immediately stuffed this goo-removing pill into his mouth. The pill melted in his mouth, and Lao immediately felt an extremely pure force directly pouring into his body, and soon it spread to all parts of his body. Then, Lao clearly felt that with the entry of this power, the blood demon poisonous insects that had begun to stir seemed to have encountered a natural enemy at this moment, and fled to other places in panic, but their fleeing speed was not as fast as the speed of the power spreading, and then they were directly annihilated by the power there. In just a moment, most of the blood demon poisonous insects in Lao's body were directly killed. Wherever the essence of the poison transforming pill passed, those blood demon poisonous insects were directly killed, and even turned into the power of Lao's body. Soon, all the blood demon poisons in Lao's body were killed by the power of the poison transforming pill. The next moment, Lao only felt that his body suddenly became relaxed, and the feeling of depression in his body disappeared instantly. Boom! At this moment, Lao, who was originally a little weak, felt that his body was full of strength, and even his pale face became ruddy at this moment, and a strong momentum suddenly burst out from Lao's body. Late stage of the Jindan realm. This Lao was originally a cultivator in the late Jindan stage, but at this moment, the aura on Lao's body became even stronger. At this moment, Lao's body also gave birth to a strong devouring force, and the spiritual power from all directions also gathered in the direction of Lao's body. The aura on Lao's body is still becoming more powerful, and it is getting stronger and stronger. In just a moment, the aura on Lao's body actually directly surpassed the late Jindan stage and entered the Shenhua stage. Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment, the earth was trembling, and the wind and clouds in the space were stirred. This is. The mirror is going to be broken. He is actually going to break through to the realm of divine transformation. At this moment, Tang Wanchen and Mo Tianxing looked at the scene in front of them, and their eyes were filled with incomparable shock, and they said in silence, "The guy in front of me is clearly on the verge of breaking through. This is just unbelievable." That's right, the Lao in front of him was about to break through. Even Lao himself didn't expect that he would break through at this moment. This is the realm of transformation into gods. In other words, he will become a master soon? Lao felt a little dreamy and excited. Lao felt that his spirit was changing at this moment, and his spiritual consciousness turned into divine consciousness. Boom! In just a few moments, Lao had already become a true powerhouse in the god transformation realm. Under the influence of this goo pill, the blood demon goo directly turned into a part of Lao's physical cultivation power, pushing him to a breakthrough point. At this moment, Lao felt the powerful power in his body, and there was a huge wave in his heart. At this moment, he felt that compared with the present, he was really no different from an ant. One was in the sky and the other was on the ground. Have I become a god? Lao clenched his fist and said, still somewhat unconvinced. Next to them, Tang Qianqian, Unzi and others looked at the scene with a hint of envy in their eyes. How old is this guy? Are you about the same age as them? But he has already become a powerful person in the realm of gods. How can they not be envious just because of Li Hao's pill? It was Tang Wanchen, Mo Tianxing, and others who felt indescribable shock in their hearts at this moment. Extremely shocking. Dewa once again produces a strong master? And he is still such a young master. Thank you. At this time, Lao looked at Li Hao again, bowed to Li Hao, and said gratefully, Li Hao's poison transforming pill not only dissolved the blood demon poison in his body, but also made him having become a powerful master is like recreating kindness, so Lao is very grateful to Li Hao. He. Hearing this, Li Hao said calmly. No need to thank me, this is your own opportunity. I also agreed to help you refine this poison pill. Li Hao said directly in a deep voice. Brother Li Hao, can we have dinner here? I've already had it prepared. At this time, Tang Wanchen spoke directly to Li Hao again. That's fine. Li Hao did not refuse. He was not in a hurry to go back to this life. He had time to eat before leaving. As a result, several people left the practice room directly and went to a large restaurant. On a long table about 10 meters long, wine and food, including Western and Chinese food, have been prepared, which is very rich. More than an hour later, Li Hao and others had dinner. After eating and drinking, it's almost time to go. Li Hao directly said to Tang Wanchen and others that this trip to Yunyinchan City had gained a lot, and it was almost time to leave. When they heard that Li Hao was leaving, the pretty faces of Tang Qianqian and Yuanzi changed slightly. Are you leaving? Although the two women had not been in contact with Li Hao for too long, they felt that they were very familiar with Li Hao, and they actually didn't want Li Hao to leave. Brother Li Hao, will you stay here for 2 nights? Tang Wanchen heard what Li Hao said and wanted to keep Li Hao here for 2 nights. No, there are still people waiting for me to go back. You just need to take me to the airport. Li Hao said calmly, and was about to leave. His private plane is already waiting at the airport, and there is also his woman waiting in Jiangbei. Are they all okay after being away for so many days? All right. When Tang Wanchen heard Li Hao's words, he felt a strange emotion in his heart. As expected, an outstanding man like Li Hao cannot do without a woman. Tang Wanchen secretly thought to himself, and he immediately stopped keeping Li Hao. As a result, Tang Wanchen directly arranged a Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle to take Li Hao to the airport. Me too. But at this moment, it was Lei Ao who spoke up again, which was beyond everyone's expectation. What are you doing together? Li Hao was a little confused. Of course I'll go with you. From today on, I'll be hanging out with you. I heard that Lei Ao say in a deep voice again, as if he recognized Li Hao. Li Hao. Li Hao was speechless. What are you doing with me? I don't need my subordinates. You are useless. Li Hao said solemnly, rejecting this. How can it be useless? I am also a strong master now. I can't let you take action in everything, right? Anyway, I will just follow you. I heard this Lei Ao speak directly again, his voice filled with determination. You don't have anywhere to go, do you? Li Hao glanced at Lei Ao again and asked in surprise. How do you know? I just have nowhere to go. I don't have a sect or a family. Immediately, Lei Ao said directly, and Li Hao really got it right. He was just a casual cultivator. He had no sect, no family, and no parents. He had always been alone. When Li Hao heard Lei Ao's words, he immediately had a dark look on his face. Just let me hang out with you. I don't need to be paid, as long as food and accommodation are provided. Seeing Li Hao's hesitation, Lei Ao said quickly. Hearing Lei Ao's words, Li Hao's heart moved again. That's all, let him follow suit. Indeed, you can't do everything yourself, right? It's also good to have a subordinate to run errands and do things, just like Master Sanyang and others. Besides, although I never need protection, Qin Yaking and Yeshiun need it. Since you are so sincere, then I will reluctantly accept you. Let's go. Immediately, Li Hao said directly again. Hearing Li Hao's words, Lei Ao was immediately overjoyed. Afterwards, Li Hao got directly into the Mercedes-Benz business car, and Lei Ao followed directly. Then, with the roar of the car, Li Hao and Lei Ao sat in the car and drove away. Watching Li Hao leave, Tang Wanchen and others did not take their eyes away for a long time. Even Tang Qianqian and Yuanzi had a look of sadness in their eyes. Don't worry, there's still a chance to see him. This kid is destined to be extraordinary. I'm afraid it won't be long before he rises to the top. Tang Wanchen said slowly again, taking back everyone's attention. Just over 20 minutes later. This Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle carried Li Hao and Lei Ao to Xiangjiang Airport. Don't you need to buy a ticket? Lei Ao said to Li Hao in surprise. No need. Li Hao said calmly. Hearing this, Lei Ao suddenly had doubts in his heart. How could he take a plane without buying a ticket? How to get in? However, Li Hao soon opened his eyes. I saw that Li Hao walked directly to the green channel, then performed facial recognition and passed the security check. Dear Mr. Li, your private jet is waiting at platform T9. I wish you a pleasant journey. The staff member saw Li Hao's name and information, but said to Li Hao respectfully. But when Lei Ao heard the staff member's words, he was deeply shocked. What? Private jet? Did I hear that correctly? Lei Ao couldn't believe his ears. Li Hao actually had a private jet? So rich? No wonder Li Hao said that he didn't need to buy a ticket. He dared to own a private jet. Yeah. He's here too. Li Hao nodded lightly and pointed at Lei Ao again, and then Lei Ao passed without any obstruction. After a few minutes, Lei Ao followed Li Hao to platform T9. There were already several figures waiting there, including 1 or 2 captains and several beautiful stewardesses. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 521. Hello boss. When the 2 captains and several beautiful flight attendants saw Li Hao approaching, they greeted him with great enthusiasm and shouted to Li Hao, their voices full of respect. Lei Ao, who was behind, looked at the scene with great shock in his heart. Well, let's go back to Jiangbei directly. This is Lei Ao, who is with me. Li Hao nodded and said to several people. Hello Mr. Lei. Several people immediately said respectfully to Lei Ao. Afterwards, Li Hao walked straight onto the plane, and Lei Ao also followed Li Hao and boarded the plane directly. Looking at the luxurious interior of this plane, Lei Ao was stunned. How? This is simply too luxurious. Is this a private jet? Lei Ao had never made a private jet before. He didn't expect Li Hao to have such a private jet. This was so shocking. Why are there such big differences between people? Although he was a monk, his life was so tight that he couldn't even put tens of thousands of dollars in his pocket, let alone his bank card. Of course, his materials could be sold for a lot of money, but Lei Ao wanted spirit stones even more. Only spirit stones could improve his cultivation. Therefore, Lei Ao doesn't have much money. The plane will take off soon. In just over an hour, Li Hao's private plane arrived at Jiangbei Airport. Lei Ao followed Li Hao and walked out of the airport. The next moment, Lei Ao saw a red Maserati parked in front of him, and beside the car, stood a slim woman wearing a white short skirt, and this woman's body was filled with a touch of nobility. Seeing this woman, Lei Ao's eyes lit up. This woman was simply the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, and she was very elegant. Even Tang Qianqian and Yuanzi were slightly inferior. Is a true goddess. The car looks good, and the people look better. Moreover, Lei Ao could see that this woman seemed to be a monk. Although her cultivation level was not high, she was just building a foundation. At this moment, the woman was standing next to the Maserati, as if waiting for someone. Suddenly, Lei Ao saw that the woman's eyes were looking this way, and then a hint of joy appeared on the woman's face, and she walked directly in the direction where they were. At this time, Lei Ao noticed that Li Hao in front of him was also looking at the woman, with a faint smile appearing on the corner of his mouth. Immediately, another incredible thought came to Lei Ao's mind. Don't these two people know each other? Is this woman waiting for Li Hao? As soon as this thought came to Lei Ao's mind, he saw Li Hao in front of him and walked forward. The next moment, Lei Ao was surprised to see Li Hao spread his arms. When the goddess opposite saw this scene, a bright smile appeared on her face, and her pace actually accelerated. Then, this goddess threw herself directly into Li Hao's arms. The two hugged each other tightly, like two lovers who hadn't seen each other for a long time. At this moment, Li Hao hugged Ye tightly, smelled the fragrance from Ye body, and felt the warmth from Ye body. Li Hao felt extremely satisfied in his heart. After Ye had that relationship with Li Hao, she became more generous and showed her longing for Li Hao without reservation. Li Hao immediately spoke directly to Ye. "Miss me?" Li Hao's words rang in Ye ears, and a faint blush appeared on Ye pretty face. She looked extremely bright, and she nodded immediately and responded. Haha, I miss you too." When Li Hao heard Ye words, he immediately laughed and said again. Behind him, Lao looked at the scene in front of him, his mouth opened, and his whole heart was filled with incomparable shock. This goddess is actually waiting for Li Hao. And looking at their movements, it's not difficult to tell that this goddess is Li Hao's woman. Li Hao and Ye hugged each other for a moment, and then let go again. This was the entrance to the airport. There were many people, but it was very eye-catching. "Let's go back," Li Hao said directly to Ye again. Ye responded again and nodded. Immediately, Li Hao was heard asking Lao behind him again. "Do you have a phone?" "Have," Lao said immediately. "Then add WeChat and leave a phone number. I will send you Sanyang's phone number later, just follow him. I will find you if anything happens." Li Hao took out his mobile phone and said directly to Lao, "Just give this Lao to Master Sanyang." Li Hao does not intend to take this Lao with him. Li Hao doesn't like having followers around him. It's not convenient, and there are only female relatives in my villa. Immediately, Li Hao and Lao saved each other's phone numbers, then sent Sanyang's phone number to Lao, and then got directly into the passenger seat of the Maserati. Immediately, Ye also sat on the driver's seat. Buzz. The car started and sped away immediately. Watching the Maserati go away, watching the two people in the car disappear from sight, Lao couldn't calm down for a long time, alone and messy in the wind. Look at people, there are crowds of people wherever they go, and the goddess herself drives to pick her up when she comes back. The most important thing is that the other party is younger than himself, but he is so promising. Look at yourself again, you are alone wherever you go. Lao felt a little sad. This is life. Maybe it's time for me to find a girlfriend. Lao suddenly had such an idea in his heart, but women would affect the speed of his cultivation. For a moment, Lao felt a little confused. Well. After a full moment, Lao let out a long sigh, then looked at the call from Li Hao in WeChat on his phone, and then dialed it. Maserati did not return to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard, but went straight to Shanglaxi Hotel. As the saying goes, one day without seeing is like 3 autumns. Li Hao has been out for several days this time, so the two miss him very much. Ever since, the two of them went directly to Li Hana's exclusive presidential suite at the Shanglaxi Hotel to do what they loved. But this time, Ye was actually very proactive. It wasn't until the sky got dark that the two of them went shopping in Shanghai for a while, bought a lot of things, had a romantic dinner, and bought a lot of snacks before returning to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. In Villa No. 13. 4 stunning-looking women were sitting at the dining table, eating hot pot with great enthusiasm and even drinking red wine. Ye Hongxiu, Chu King Ai, Mo Bai, and even Linda are here. Sister, it's so delicious. Is this your first time eating this hot pot? Chu King Ai said to Mo Bai that her senior sister Mo Bai had always been in the immortal sect and had never come down from the mountain. She only recently came to Jiangbei. She had rarely been exposed to secular things before, and she had never even eaten this hot pot. When Mo Bai heard Chu King Ai's words, he nodded immediately while still stuffing crispy sausage into his mouth. During this period of time, Mo Bai followed Chu King Ai and Linda, and quickly became familiar with the secular world, which was indeed much more exciting than the mountains. However, at this moment, Ye Hongxiu's voice suddenly sounded. Someone is back. Ye Hongxiu is a powerful earth immortal. How terrifying it is to perceive with her spiritual consciousness. Even from far away, Ye Hongxiu senses that Li Hao has come back and is still sitting in Ye Xiun's car, but Ye Hongxiu didn't speak until Li Hao and the others reached the door, reminding others. When the three girls in Chu King I heard Ye Hongxiu's words, a look of surprise appeared on their pretty faces, and a bright light appeared in their eyes. Someone is back. You mean, Li Hao? As soon as Chu King I and others finished speaking, the door to the living room was opened. Li Hao walked in carrying a large bag of things. The women immediately cast their eyes towards Li Hao, and even saw Ye Xiun standing next to Li Hao. Immediately, the women couldn't help but feel something strange in their hearts, as if they felt a little uncomfortable. Li Hao actually asked Ye Xiun to pick him up instead of them. Moreover, looking at the appearance of the two of them, it was not difficult to see that they had clearly gone shopping outside. Hey, I'm eating hot pot. Not bad. As soon as Li Hao entered the door, he saw several people eating hot pot, and he smelled it from a distance, so he said directly. But when Ye Hongxiu and others on the opposite side heard Li Hao's words, they said nothing and looked directly at Li Hao. The atmosphere at the scene was a bit cold. Li Hao looked at the women in confusion, his mouth slightly twitching. What is going on? Boss, have you eaten? Do you want to eat together? Linda was better, she asked Li Hao directly with a concerned look on her face. Linda, aren't you asking questions knowingly? Some people still know to come back. At this time, Ye Hongxiu spoke out again from the side, with a touch of coldness in his voice. Yeah, that's right. Does someone know that he's coming back? I haven't had anything to eat these days, so I can only order takeout. Chu King I also said to Li Hao from the side, and echoed from the side. Li Hao. Li Hao was immediately speechless. It turned out that these women blamed themselves for not having anyone to cook for them when he was away. How dare they even order takeout for this hot pot? My fault, my fault. I will take you with me next time I go out. Li Hao immediately said to the girls again. Huh, that's pretty much it? Chu King I said with a cold snort. Eat quickly, the beef is getting old. Then, the women continued to eat their own food, ignoring Li Hao. But Ye Xiun next to her didn't say anything and went directly back to her room. We are under the same roof, but Ye Xiun's relationship with several girls is not very good. Until now, Ye Xiun is actually still a little entangled and complicated in her heart. She really wants to ask Li Hao why he wants these women to live in this villa. You know, but she came first. However, Ye Xiun did not ask this question after all. You guys eat and drink slowly, I'm going back to my room first. Li Hao said to the women again. Okay, but you'll take care of it later. I heard Chu King I say again. Is it true that I am the one who prepares food and washes dishes for you? Li Hao said speechlessly. What? Do you have any opinions? Without waiting for Chu King I to respond, Ye Hongxiu next to him said directly, looking at Li Hao with a bad face. No, no. Just leave it to me. Li Hao said hurriedly. People have to bow their heads under the eaves. Ye Hongxiu is a big earthly immortal. He can't afford to offend her. Later, he wanted to find Ye Hongxiu to try to open the seal on the golden fragment. Although the system prompts that only heavenly immortals can open the seal, Li Hao still wants to find Ye Hongxiu to try, maybe he will succeed. After that, Li Hao went straight back to his room. The four girls didn't know how long they ate, eating hot pot and drinking red wine. Later, when they were drinking to their heart's content, they seemed to play games. It was late at night. Later, Ye Hongxiu and Mo Bai didn't seem to drink anymore, leaving only Chu King Ai and Linda. Linda's alcohol tolerance is really good, and after becoming Li Hao's woman, Linda also became a foundation building cultivator, so she is not so easy to get drunk. But even so, Linda and Mo Bai's pretty faces were still red from drinking. No, no. No more. At the table, Mo Bai said dizzy, obviously he couldn't drink anymore and was drunk. Another glass, the last one. Linda next to him said with a glass of wine. Okay, the last one. Just the last one. Mo Bai finally agreed to Linda's persuasion. She completely let go today, and did not use any cultivation power, relying on her real alcohol tolerance. So, the two women clinked glasses again, and then drank it all. I can't stand it anymore, I want to go back to sleep. After drinking, Mo Bai got up and staggered towards the room. Boss, come out to clean up the table. Linda shouted to Li Hao in the room again. Li Hao walked out speechlessly after hearing Linda's words and walked down from the second floor. Are you okay? Li Hao asked again as he looked at Mo Bai, who was dizzy and going up the stairs. I am fine. Mo Bai said weakly. But as soon as he finished speaking, Mo Bai slipped and was about to fall down. Ah! A scream came out of Mo Bai's mouth immediately. However, Mo Bai did not fall down, but fell into a man's arms. Li Hao was quick and hugged Mo Bai, which prevented Mo Bai from falling. Looking at Mo Bai in his arms, the originally cold goddess now had a blush on her pretty face, so bright and beautiful that she was so close that the distance between them was less than 10 centimeters, which made Li Hao couldn't help but have an impulse. Thank you, Li Hao. You are so nice. Mua. Mo Bai looked at Li Hao in front of him and said to him gratefully. Under the influence of alcohol, he kissed Li Hao again, on the mouth. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 522. Li Hao was stunned for a moment. Damn. He was kissed by Mo Bai. Li Hao never thought that Mo Bai would do such a thing. This was completely different from the usual Mo Bai. Li Hao knew that this was under the influence of alcohol. After Mo Bai kissed Li Hao, he did not take any further action, but stood up from Li Hao's arms and continued to go upstairs to his room. Li Hao looked at this scene, but did not mind too much. He kissed, anyway, he did not suffer any loss. Li Hao went straight downstairs and came to the dining table. Boss, what a good opportunity. At this time, Linda smiled at Li Hao again. Haha, taking advantage of others' misfortune is not your boss's style. I still want to take the initiative. Li Hao immediately laughed and said to Linda. He naturally understood what Linda meant. Then boss, do you think I am proactive enough? Linda blushed and said again when she heard Li Hao's words. We'll know whether I'm proactive enough until we get to the room. A naughty smile appeared on Li Hao's face again. Okay. Boss, you clean up first, I'll take a shower first and wait for you in the room. Linda was originally a relatively open-minded girl. Since Li Hao and his son went to his family to take him away, Linda has made up her mind to follow Li Hao. There will be no more objections from the family and the royal family. Even her mother and others called her to stay with Li Hao and obey his words. Because now, Li Hao is not only the master of the William family, but also the master of the Holy Church of Light. Linda threw a coquettish eye at Li Hao, and then went back to the room to take a shower. As for Li Hao, he began to clean up the table bitterly, but Li Hao enjoyed it. This is life. More than 20 minutes later, Li Hao jumped lightly from the balcony and came to the balcony of Linda's room. Ah! Linda had just walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a bath towel, and when she saw a figure in the room, she was about to scream. "It's me," Li Hao said quickly. "Huh." Linda breathed a sigh of relief, patting her chest and saying, "Boss, it's you. I was scared to death. I thought it was a thief." "Why didn't you knock on the door?" "Hee, you really guessed it right. Aren't we here to buy cauliflower? If we knock on the door, wouldn't it be unprofessional?" Li Hao said with a smirk. "Boss, you are so bad." Linda's already rosy face blushed even more when she heard Li Hao's words, and she said to Li Hao, "Haha, if a man is not bad, women don't love him." Li Hao grinned, and as he spoke, he had already moved towards Linda, and the next moment, Li Hao held Linda in his arms. Then he stayed awake all night. The next day, Li Hao got up very early and made a loving breakfast for the girls. It was porridge, eggs, bread, milk, etc. It was very ordinary, but there were many kinds. After finishing it, Li Hao went directly to the practice room. Originally, Li Hao wanted to go to Jiangbei University today, but today was the weekend and there were no classes. Li Hao never forgot that he was still a student of Jiangbei University, but Li Hao had not been to class for a long time. In the practice room, Li Hao moved his mind and took out the talisman paper he bought in Yunyinshan City from the system world. The yellowed talisman paper looked very ordinary, but it was made of special materials, which contained magical power. The next moment, Li Hao took out some spiritual medicine and mixed the ink for drawing talismans according to the method of refining talismans prompted by the system. Then, Li Hao took out a brush, and this brush was filled with a pure power. Judge's pen. Li Hao hadn't taken out this treasure for a long time, but at this moment, Li Hao took out this judge's pen, not for fighting, but for drawing talismans. At this moment, Li Hao, who was holding the judge's pen, also had a majestic force on his body. Then Li Hao took out some spiritual stones and arranged the entire environment for refining talismans before he began to refine talismans. Hu. Li Hao took a deep breath, then took a piece of talisman paper and spread it on a table in front of him. Then, a powerful cultivation force in Li Hao's body also started to operate directly, and spiritual power was directly injected into the judge's pen in his hand. Boom! Suddenly, the spiritual energy surged on this judge's pen, and some rune patterns suddenly appeared in Li Hao's mind, and each rune was full of strange power, and different runes had different effects. "Try the simple one first," Li Hao muttered, and immediately had an idea. Li Hao looked at the talisman paper, and a gleam of brilliance flashed in his eyes again. Then, Li Hao held the judge's pen, dipped it in ink, and began to write. "Draw the talisman." The next moment, Li Hao's judge's pen moved on the talisman paper, following a strange trajectory, as if following the traces of a great way. Although it was the first time to refine, Li Hao felt very familiar with it, and his movements were not slow at all. It was like flowing water, and he wrote with a divine touch. Li Hao concentrated his mind and moved his pen very quickly. Soon, a rune was outlined on the talisman paper by Li Hao. When the rune was drawn by Li Hao, it actually burst out a strong light on the talisman paper. Buzz! The next moment, a strange power seemed to be sealed on the talisman paper, making the talisman paper look different. A talisman was successfully refined. This is a soul recovering talisman, which has the ability to speed up the recovery of spiritual power and can quickly restore the cultivation of cultivators who have consumed too much spiritual power. Looking at this soul recovering talisman, Li Hao's heart moved, and he immediately put this soul recovering talisman on his body. The next moment, this soul recovering talisman was directly burned and turned into ashes. Li Hao immediately felt that a magical power descended on him, and then Li Hao felt that the spiritual power in this space seemed to be attracted, and all of it condensed towards Li Hao's body. In just a moment, the spiritual power in Li Hao's body became extremely full, even more concentrated than before. The effect is good. Li Hao immediately muttered again, and tried it. This time the effect of the talisman is good. If it is sold, it may be able to sell a lot of spiritual stones. Without the slightest hesitation, Li Hao directly picked up the judge's pen and started to draw. With this first experience, Li Hao became more handy in drawing. In his mind, rune patterns emerged one by one, and soon Li Hao drew them all out. One by one, the talismans were all successfully refined by Li Hao. Time flew by, and it passed quickly. Li Hao was immersed in the refining of the talisman, and his mind was completely immersed in the matter of drawing the talisman. Li Hao even forgot the time. I don't know how long it took, but the sky outside slowly darkened again. Dong dong dong. Until there was a knock on the door of the training room, Li Hao suddenly woke up. Li Hao, what are you doing in there? It's dark, why don't you come out to cook dinner? Chu King Ai's voice rang out at the door again. At this moment, Li Hao seemed to wake up from a dream, as if he was in another world. What? Is it dark? Li Hao's heart was also suddenly shocked. He actually drew talismans for a whole day, and Li Hao was immersed in it, and he didn't notice it at all. And at this moment, Li Hao felt a strong sense of fatigue in his body, and was abnormally weak. Li Hao suddenly realized that most of his body's spiritual power had been consumed, and even his spirit felt extremely weak. At this moment, Li Hao seemed to have been hollowed out. Hiss. Li Hao took a breath of cold air, and only then realized that refining talismans was so exhausting. Looking at the front, Li Hao had already drawn hundreds of talismans. There were soul-recovering talismans for restoring spiritual power, healing talismans for healing wounds, evil-breaking talismans for expelling evil spirits, and thunder talismans that could explode like thunder, etc. There were many kinds, and Li Hao drew at least more than 10 talismans, each of which had an incomparable and strange power. The next moment, Li Hao put away the judge's pen in his hand, and then put away all the remaining talismans, and stopped drawing talismans. At present, he had drawn so many, which was basically enough. Whether it was used to fight against the enemy or for self-defense, it was very useful. Then, Li Hao took out a refreshing pill from the system world and ate it directly. The function of this refreshing pill is to restore mental strength. After Li Hao took this refreshing pill, Li Hao's spirit was shocked and his mental strength began to recover instantly. Although the whole person looked a little embarrassed, he was still quite energetic. After doing all this, Li Hao immediately set his sights on these refined talismans. When Li Hao was about to put them all away, his eyes lit up and Li Hao's sight immediately fell on one of the talismans. This is a peach blossom talisman. The peach blossom talisman, as its name suggests, can bring peach blossom luck to the user. It is a very special talisman. Although the peach blossom luck brought is not long-lasting and can only last for 2 days, it is very magical in Li Hao's eyes. Immediately, Li Hao's heart moved. Since this peach blossom talisman has been drawn, it must be used, and this peach blossom talisman was originally refined by Li Hao for himself. Not knowing what effect it would have, Li Hao suddenly felt a sense of anticipation. Immediately, without any hesitation, Li Hao took the peach blossom talisman and stuck it on his forehead. The peach blossom talisman immediately turned into a gust of wind and dissipated. Invisibly, Li Hao seemed to feel a strange power descending on him, but he couldn't tell exactly what it was. Here it comes. The next moment, Li Hao directly collected all the remaining refined talismans, and then walked towards the door of the training room while responding. Li Hao opened the door directly and saw Chu King Ai standing in the doorway wearing light pajamas. Her perfect figure was undoubtedly revealed. The most important thing was that Chu King Ai's pajamas were buttoned. At this moment, Li Hao's eyes couldn't help but fall on Chu King Ai, especially the proud figure on Chu King Ai's chest. Then, Li Hao was stunned. All I saw was that the button on Chu King Ai's chest was open and not buttoned. But Chu King Ai didn't seem to notice it. Immediately, Li Hao saw a touch of fair skin. Damn! Is this what I can see? However, this was really not intentional. If you don't see it, you won't see it. Hiss. The next moment, Li Hao took a deep breath. Li Hao, why are you hiding in this room? You won't come out all day? My senior sister and I went to buy fish, and we're just waiting for you to make dinner. Chu King Ai watched Li Hao appear. Even though she was talking to Li Hao, she didn't pay attention to where Li Hao's eyes were looking. Do it right now. Li Hao said in response. Then hurry up, everyone is very hungry. We have instant noodles for lunch. Chu King Ai said directly again, then turned and walked towards the living room. Li Hao looked at this scene, but he didn't know whether he should remind him or not. Would it be embarrassing if he did? Forget it, I won't remind you anymore. This is a rare benefit. Immediately, Li Hao also walked straight towards the living room. But the next moment, Li Hao heard it. In the living room, Mo Bai, who was sitting on the sofa, suddenly noticed Chu King Ai's clothes and immediately reminded Chu King Ai. King Ai, buttons on your clothes? What? Clothes buttons. What's wrong? When Chu King Ai heard what her senior sister said, she didn't know why, and immediately lowered her head and looked at the buttons of her clothes. Ah! The next moment, a scream suddenly rang out from Chu King Ai's mouth. Chu King Ai quickly buttoned the clothes on her chest, but her pretty face instantly turned red with embarrassment. Her clothes were actually stretched open, and a large piece of her clothes was exposed. She only realized it now, thinking that she had just walked around in front of Li Hao, and Li Hao's eyes just seemed to be on her chest. Didn't Li Hao see everything? Oh my god! Suddenly, Chu King Ai felt ashamed. Chu King Ai immediately looked at Li Hao behind her. Did you just see that? Chu King Ai asked Li Hao. No, no. Li Hao quickly denied it. No. You obviously saw it. But Chu King Ai said again. I saw a little bit. Li Hao said weakly. I'm not clean anymore. What should I do? What should I do? Chu King Ai screamed again. Hearing Chu King Ai's words, Li Hao was speechless. Isn't this unclean? Why don't you just take a look? Why are you yelling? Just watch it. If it doesn't work, why don't you just watch it and come back? Mo Bai was speechless at this moment, and immediately said again. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 523. Sister, he is a boy. When Chu King Ai heard Mo Bai's words, her pretty face turned red with embarrassment and she said directly. Haha, what? Don't you dare. Mo Bai immediately laughed again. TCH. Who wouldn't dare? Just watch. Chu King Ai immediately pouted and said. The next moment, she looked at Li Hao again, and with an impulse in her heart, she rushed directly towards Li Hao. What are you doing? Li Hao stared at Chu King Ai and said. I want to see it back. Chu King Ai said directly again. As he spoke, he started to pull Li Hao's clothes directly. I'm going. When Li Hao saw this scene, he thought he was swearing. Are you serious? It's up to us to go to the room. Li Hao said directly again, this is in the living room, how bad it is for others to see it, go into the room and see whatever you want. Okay. Surprisingly, beyond Li Hao's expectation, Chu King Ai actually agreed again. Then let's go. Li Hao was surprised, but he said directly, pretending to be ready to go back to the room. Let's cook first, I'm so hungry. But at this time, Chu King Ai said again. When Li Hao heard this, he was immediately speechless. As a result, Li Hao went directly to get food. Not long after, Linda also came back. Now Linda is still Li Hao's personal assistant, but on weekdays she works in the Jiangbei branch of Shanshui Group. "Hey boss, you seem a little different today. You are so handsome." As soon as Linda entered the door, she saw Li Hao, who was cooking in the kitchen. His handsome profile showed a bit of unruliness. A strand of hair crossed Li Hao's face, making him look a bit more mature and restrained temperament. Linda couldn't tell, but she felt that Li Hao seemed a little different today. He seemed more handsome and more masculine. "Well, haven't I always been so handsome?" Li Hao was startled and said narcissistically, but he didn't pay too much attention. Until Ye Xiun came back and glanced at Li Hao, Ye Xiun was stunned. The next moment, a blush appeared on Ye Xiun's pretty face. "What are you looking at? Have you never seen a handsome guy?" Li Hao looked at Ye Xiun and said jokingly. "Yeah, I've never seen such a handsome guy like you. Li Hao, did you put on makeup today? Why do you look so good?" Ye Xiun said directly. Li Hao was suddenly stunned when he heard Ye Xiun's words, and there was a look of surprise in his eyes. "Makeup? Put on your girl's makeup? Do you look good? Is this a joke? I am still like this, why did I suddenly say this today? So was that Linda just now?" The next moment, Li Hao suddenly thought of something else. Could it be peach blossom talisman? Li Hao had burned a peach blossom charm before and wanted to test the effect. Then he thought about the unbuttoned Chu King II pajamas he saw before. It was most likely the effect of the peach blossom charm. "Does this peach blossom charm bring you luck?" Li Hao had such an idea in his mind. If it was just like this peach blossom luck would be too weak. The effect of this peach blossom charm should not be so weak, right? Immediately, a hint of expectation arose in Li Hao's heart. Li Hao prepared dinner, including braised fish, braised pork ribs, fish-flavored shredded pork, etc. 6 dishes and 1 soup were all full of color, flavor, and taste. Every dish was very delicious. This is why Chu King II and the others asked Li Hao to cook for them. It was just because the food Li Hao cooked was so delicious. Li Hao, who has god-level cooking skills, naturally made the best food. After eating, Ye Xiun went directly back to her room. But Mo Bai and the others went to the leisure room together. As for what they were going to do, it was a bit beyond Li Hao's expectation. They went to play mahjong. I don't know when, a few people actually built an electric mahjong table in the lounge of the villa. Li Hao couldn't believe that even Ye Hongxiu, a strong earth immortal, could play mahjong. This kind of entertainment full of fireworks was suitable for an extraordinary earth immortal strong like Ye Hongxiu. The girls walked away, leaving a table in a mess, and it was still Li Hao who came to clean it up. As the owner of this villa, he directly became a male servant, but Li Hao didn't pay too much attention to it, but enjoyed it. It's night. Li Hao was lying on the bed, unwilling to sleep. For some reason, as his cultivation level improved and his power of consciousness became stronger, Li Hao still didn't feel the opportunity to break through. Now Li Hao was a little confused again. Li Hao couldn't help but ask himself, what is it that he is pursuing? Li Hao has always been alone. He has never seen his parents, and he doesn't even know if his parents are still alive. Li Hao actually wanted to go there and look for his parents, but every time he thought about it, Li Hao hesitated. Even if it is found, so what? Should I ask them why they abandoned themselves? That doesn't make much sense. If they care about themselves, they will not abandon themselves. If they care about themselves, they will not look for them, but they will look for themselves. Thinking of this, even as a peak powerhouse in the late stage of the transformation of the spirit, Li Hao even had a chance to find the truth of the matter, but he did not do so. Oh! Forget it, don't think too much. The next moment, Li Hao sighed again and said to himself, throwing away some complicated thoughts in his mind. Life is in the world, enjoy it while it lasts, and now Li Hao also has the capital to enjoy it. He is handsome, rich, talented, and has billions. Since I can't sleep, let's play with my phone. So, Li Hao took out his mobile phone again and turned on tremolo. Immediately, a woman with a sweet and delicate face, wearing white clothes, appeared on Li Hao's mobile phone screen. This is the anchor that Li Hao follows, so the Tremolo Big Data Intelligence recommends the live broadcast of this woman to Li Hao. This female anchor, Li Hao is very familiar with, and has met her several times. It is Li Xiaoqian. After not seeing for a long time, this Li Xiaoqian seems to be more sweet and moving. Moreover, Li Xiaoqian's figure is undoubtedly very good. Even if she is sitting, it is difficult to hide her curvy figure, which is the type that most men like most. Looking at the background of Li Xiaoqian's live broadcast, it should be on a bridge. Xiaoqian is wearing a shawl, and there are some other anchors behind the video. The next moment, Li Hao clicked in without hesitation. Li Xiaoqian is doing live broadcasts and making money as usual. Since the 2 times when she was beaten by the big brother Heiran Genki to hundreds of carnivals, and the time when she won the online PK with the big internet celebrity MP Xiaogui, Li Xiaoqian has also become popular, and the number of fans has skyrocketed to more than 500,000, which can be regarded as a small internet celebrity. At this time, Li Xiaoqian still chats with everyone, sings songs, and occasionally connects with other anchors to play games, and her income is also very considerable. Every time she broadcasts live, many big guys give her expensive gifts, Huazi, Vibrato number 1, etc., appear from time to time. Even many big brothers sent private messages to Li Xiaoqian, wanting to keep her or have sex with her, and directly offered hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, Li Xiaoqian ignored all of these. Since the last bridge collapse, Li Xiaoqian no longer broadcast live under bridges or in bridge holes, but came directly to this bridge. This bridge is called Rainbow Bridge, which is a popular bridge in Jiangbei. At night, the colorful lights will change and shine, which looks very gorgeous. Therefore, there are many anchors who broadcast live on this bridge, and Li Xiaoqian is one of them. Moreover, the live broadcast on this bridge has a very wide view, and you can see the prosperous night view of the entire Jiangbei. If you are tired of live broadcasting, you can stand up and blow the river breeze, which is very comfortable. At this moment, in Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, gorgeous pictures continue to appear, such as drifting sports cars, dreamy castles, blue rockets taking off, or golden huazi. Thank you, Mr. Wang, for the rocket. Thank you, Brother Yiganjian, for the castle. Thank you, Brother Futu, for the carnival. Li Xiaoqian looked at the pictures that appeared from time to time on the screen. They were all gifts given to her by the brothers in the live broadcast room. Li Xiaoqian kept thanking them. She now earns at least tens of thousands of yuan a night from live broadcasting, which is a world of difference from before. Li Xiaoqian knows that she is now thanks to the big brother Heiran Genki. However, after the big brother Heiran Genki came twice and gave her hundreds of huazi, he disappeared and never appeared again. This also made Li Xiaoqian feel a little disappointed and confused from time to time. Why is this? Li Xiaoqian fantasized that this big brother Heiran Genki would send her a private message and ask her to meet offline. If he sent her a private message to ask her to meet, would she agree? But what Li Xiaoqian didn't expect was that the other party never sent her a private message and just disappeared. Even Li Xiaoqian wanted to connect with the other party to see what he looked like, but she didn't have the chance. As Li Xiaoqian was broadcasting, she felt a little tired and sleepy. However, at this moment, on the screen of the live broadcast room, another exclusive prompt appeared, which was only for high-level bosses to come to the live broadcast room. Heiran Genki joined the live broadcast room. Moreover, At the beginning of the series of prompts, there was a digital icon, which was the honor level 50. When this series of prompts appeared, Li Xiaoqian didn't notice it because there were too many bosses in the live broadcast room. But the sharp-eyed netizens found it. The next moment, Xiaoqian's live broadcast room was boiling. Oh my god, look, who's here? Wow, Heiran Genki. It's brother Heiran Genki. The big guy is here. He hasn't appeared for a long time. The big guy has arrived, why don't you take off your clothes to welcome him? Host, your brother Heiran Genki is here. Xiaoqian, where are you running? Brother Heiran Genki is here to catch you. At this moment, in Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, countless netizens began to swipe the screen, because the appearance of this Heiran Genki was completely boiling. What brother Heiran Genki? What's going on? Who is this? Such a big scene. Isn't he only level 50? Of course, there are some new netizens or some netizens who don't know what happened in Xiaoqian's live broadcast room last time. When they see these people's words, they immediately express their doubts. They can't believe that the appearance of a level 50 Big Brother will cause such a big sensation. There are quite a few level 50 Big Brothers on the Tremolo platform, and there are even super rich people who have reached level 60. Level 50 is not low, but it is not particularly high either. Level 50 is not high, but he only went online twice and spent less than half an hour to reach level 50. Isn't that awesome? He can kill hundreds of Wazi in one go and suppress the MP ghost. Isn't that awesome? Even brother Heiran Genki doesn't know about it? I'm so ignorant. I didn't expect this big guy to appear again. Is he going to cause trouble again? Just wait and see. I feel that this big guy is not here with good intentions. There's something interesting to watch. Some people talked about the previous record of Heiran Genki, and some people expressed their amazement and expectation. The next moment, Li Xiaoqian also noticed what the netizens said. Her beautiful eyes lit up immediately, and she was shocked and instantly became energetic. Heiran Genki actually appeared in her live broadcast room again. Li Xiaoqian immediately felt her heartbeat speed up, her breathing became rapid, and she was very excited. Welcome my big brother, brother Heiran Genki, to Xiaoqian's live broadcast room. Li Xiaoqian said excitedly. Li Hao didn't expect that he would cause such a big sensation in Xiaoqian's live broadcast room as soon as he entered the live broadcast room. Last time, after he gave Xiaoqian 2 Huazi, his fans also reached more than 300,000, and even many female anchors sent him private messages, which were very explicit. But Li Hao didn't reply to any of them, and didn't take those people to heart at all. At this moment, Li Hao just felt that he couldn't sleep, was a little bored, and happened to see Xiaoqian live broadcasting, so he clicked in. Boss, I want to follow you. At Heiran Genki. Xiaoqian, the boss is here, let's go. Let's PK. With the boss's support, we can beat those anchors. Xiaoqian, let's go PK. Don't be scared, just do it. Boss, say something. At Heiran Genki. In the live broadcast room, countless netizens spoke up at this moment, encouraging Xiaoqian to PK, and even many people directly and Li Hao. PK? I don't want to be punished. Xiaoqian saw these people's speeches and said weakly that she could connect to PK, but she didn't want to be afraid of punishment.